don't need music. I do not need music. I do not need music. Do not. I do not. Hello. We started streaming. Fucking. Okay, let's start playing.
Man.
Alright, Kide, let me show you how to use the computer. Press E.
Ah! Wait. Okay. Uh. Please enter a favorite animal? Okay. Wait. Cat.
Oh my god, man. I swear to God.
Stop it. Stop it. El que entró. Hello, McQueen. McQueen's in chat. Hola, McQueen. Hola.
Hola.
It's my first time playing Lethal Company. Mi primera vez jugando Lethal Company. What the fuck's going on? Please describe your role as the teen Lost.
Lost.
Welcome to Person Night Courtesy. Please type help for the help. So movie star. I remember that's my old friend. Hola, movie star. How are you? Tanto tiempo. What the fuck? Te iba a escribir y no te vi. Okay.
Alright.
Store.
So you see how it says like with like you see how it says moons, store, bestiary, storage, other?
Yeah.
If you go to store.
Story.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
And then you see those are all the items. You type the name of the item you want, and then type the amount after, like with a space.
Oh.
So for us, you would need 4 flashlights.
Okay. Good
So try that out.
idea. Wait. Oh shit. Sorry, I did it wrong. You need 4 flashlights.
She's gonna buy the wrong thing. I have a feeling.
Shut up. You gotta believe in me. Buenas noches, Pidi.
Alright.
Ay, Dios. Espérate.
Alright. We're not getting flashlights, guys. I don't believe in it.
Hold on. Do I just type flashlight?
Yeah, you just type flashlight space 4.
You have requested to order the flashlights. I'm on 4.
Yep.
Okay.
Confirm or deny.
Okay.
You did it! You did your first shopping trip!
I
Yay!
didn't. Okay. Yeah, do I just escape?
Now what you get to do is you get to choose where we go.
No.
So press E again to go to the computer. No,
Oh,
you're the
God.
host.
Okay.
Moons. Yeah, you just type moons.
Moons.
Yeah. And then you see those are your list of things. The first 6 are ones that we can go to without spending money.
Oh,
We don't
that
have any
guardian.
money.
Okay. I don't have any money. Okay.
Oh, look at Dentito.
Hi, Dantito! Sorry, I'm saying hello to everybody. Hola a todos. Hello, everybody. Okay, PD, gracias. Let me check in. Somebody sent me a reference of something. I forgot to check it out. Hee hee. Okay.
I'm not gonna tell her anything on which one to pick. So get ready, guys.
Okay. Where are we going again? Hi,
I
Jen.
believe.
You pull the lever.
Oh, E? Oh, wait, where is the lever? Where's the lever?
Right here.
Oh, okay, E.
There you go, yay!
Happy Halloween, everybody! Feliz Halloween! ¿Cómo están? Watch out, guys, this company is getting pretty lethal. Oh, god dang it, Dandito.
Oh.
Hi,
Good night.
Dandito. What?
We gotta wait for our...
Go.
Oh,
We
god.
gotta wait for our flashlight.
We gotta wait for the flashlight. Tomo. Oh god, I'm stuck underneath the thing. Hold on. Dandito, it's my
Why are you
first time
bunny
playing.
hopping?
Because I'm trying to jump.
You know, I have a feeling she's gonna get
climb.
lost.
Hold on. Oh godness.
Oh.
How do I go in again? Oh god, I'm lost. Okay, no, shh. Calm down, Kide. Where's my
Flashlight, let's
flashlight?
go.
Where's my flashlight? Oh.
Follow the sound. There she is. Get your flashlight. There you go, we're all ready. Let's go.
Where's my flashlight?
Did you pick it up?
No, where is it?
It was right there. You didn't pick it up.
I knew that. What? Tomo, give it back, you stinky. You stinky. Hello, everybody. Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Perdón que no dije hola. Estoy jugando Little Company. Whippy!
Uh-oh.
Good luck and careful from everything out there. Okay. Where's Ari?
We
Tomo.
lost. I'm already
No,
lost.
No. Wait, Tomo. I'm following you. Tomo.
I'm scared.
Help.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get out of here.
Help. Help.
Oh, bridge over here.
Help. 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 Help.
Also, right click to queue ping stuff. See?
And
Right
then
click.
go. Just go.
Also, wait, not too many people. This has like a heavy
No,
weight
I don't
thing.
care. I don't fucking
We're gonna
care.
burn.
I don't care. I don't care. Hurry up. Wait, where is it again?
So, right here. Right click. Yeah.
I'm
you just
sad.
click it.
Oh. Ah. Okay. Okay. Oh, gun. Tomo. Hello.
Hey, you made
Good
it
luck.
inside.
I
Wait.
found the way because Tomo didn't know. What's going on? 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 Ah.
Oh, that was quick.
Help me! Oh my god, Ari. Help me. Ah,
Yeah, she got bugged.
I got bugged.
I can't see past this toilet
Oh.
paper.
Guys, ¿qué carajo? Ayuda.
Oh,
Oh,
can you follow my voice? Oh,
Okay,
never
no,
mind.
I can't.
Oh, she's dead.
I'm dead. Hello. I'm dead. Bueno, morí.
I can't see past the toilet paper.
Are you serious? Wait, can she
Um,
hear me? ¿Cómo estás, amiga? Estoy bien.
Where do I
Choco.
go?
¿Cómo
I can't see
estás?
past the toilet paper.
Espérate.
Oh, wait.
Espera.
Is the
Ahí
bug up
está.
there?
¿Cómo estás? Perdón, pero de
I'll
verdad
take care of you. It's
eh,
okay.
comencé sin decir hola. ¿Cómo estás, Joaco? ¿Tanto tiempo?
Oh.
I have
Alright.
toilet paper.
Oh,
Alright, let's
God. Me
go.
están rescatando. Es mi primera vez jugando este jodido juego. Mi PC se murió, pero regresamos, brother. Regresamos. Qué bueno. Dios te me cuide. Un besito.
I can't see with this toilet
Que
paper.
mi
in
mamá
my
me vamos
Oh yeah,
a resucitar,
it's
así
the right
que
side, right
volví.
side.
Ven,
face. Okay.
porque todo suena tan alto. Ah, ahí está. Lo siento, jiji. Ahí está. Espero que todo se escuche bien.
Uh-oh.
What is it?
Oh, God, ¿qué está pasando?
This is new.
Miren, yo no entiendo nada de este jodido juego,
Where'd all
¿ok?
my friends go?
Mire, así se juega. Yo hago, tú ves esto.
Is anybody left?
Ay, bendito sea Dios. Oh, God.
Wait, what?
Hey. No me escuchan.
Suffocation.
Me dejaron morir.
Please don't break. Please don't break.
Oh, God. Mira, puñeta. What the fuck? Oh, God. Oh, God. Ay, Dios mío, no puedo parar de reírme. Qué porquería. Happy Halloween. Joaco, dime que te vas a vestir este Halloween, bro. Si te viste este Halloween, genial. Oh. Ok. Oh.
Yeah, I'm good with keeping the toilet paper in the mug.
Yeah, this is good enough. Oh.
Yeah, it's good.
Está diciendo que le quiere
Oh.
mantener el
Oh,
el papel de
did you run
toilet.
into the bird thing? Wait.
Oh, God,
Oh,
wait.
there they are.
Wait.
Oh my. Oh God, there's something on your head.
Oh, Toxic, gracias, Toxic. ¿Cómo estás, Toxic? Creo que estoy muy alta.
Wait. It's
Toxic, ¿y por qué no sale? Ahí está. ¿Por qué no suena? No
what?
sé.
What the fuck was
¿Cómo
that?
estás? Qué bueno verte. Oh, hello.
There's still some stuff by
Wait.
the doors.
Hold on.
Oh,
Oh,
I don't
God.
know if we should go back.
Voy a bajarlos a
It kind
todos
of
porque
flooded
estaba muy
out.
alto.
I don't know.
Oh, God. Me están
Okay,
reviviendo.
Good luck, soldier.
Qué bueno verte, Toxic. ¿Cómo estás?
I mean, I guess if two of you know, actually, no.
Tanto tiempo no avisé que iba a ser stream, lo siento. Jiji.
Wait, why is your body all the way over here? For me?
¿Qué está pasando?
Oh,
Mira mi cuerpo, mira, yo morí ya.
Matt's dead. He's dead.
Feliz, happy Halloween.
There's no way. Well, I don't know if he's dead. or
Happy
not. I
Halloween.
can hear a giant. Uh-oh.
Feliz Halloween. Ya
He's
comenzamos.
not dead yet,
Oh,
oh, he's
God.
not dead.
but I heard a giant. So
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, God. Esto parece una película, bro. So, mira, tenemos a Ari, tenemos al hermano de Ari, se llama Matt, y tenemos a Tomoko. Estamos jugando todos.
Ja, SIT externaba venía
Oh, también te extrañé. ¿Por qué no lo puedo escuchar yo? Qué porquería. Lo escuché
Stay
bien
back.
bajito. Tengo que arreglar
I
eso.
have an egg beater.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Wait, is there a giant?
Oh, God.
Oh boy. Oh no.
Se voló. Oh, God.
Ah! Fuck.
Se jodió.
Well,
uh,
goodbye everyone.
Ay, puñeta. This is so
He's dead.
fucking
saw him
hilarious,
down.
man. What the fuck?
Alright. Really?
Oh,
The fuck out of here. I just killed him.
Pruébalo, pruébalo. They're gonna make it. I know it.
Okay, we got small amount, and we got the toilet paper. It's totally cool. I think we're fine.
Qué
okay,
bonito.
Ari's done that.
Gracias, romántico. ¿Cómo se
What's
encuentra?
going on? Apparently, she's the laziest employee too. That's funny.
What the fuck? What the fuck? That's not.
Hey Matt, what the fuck got you?
Giant?
A giant.
Me asusta.
Okay.
Hello.
I
Alright.
was told that
So-
breaking line of sight would save me, but it
What's
didn't.
this?
Dude, you guys, I felt that I was watching a movie. It was so funny.
Alright,
It's
hey,
like,
Kita.
okay, yes.
Alright,
Anyone
you choose
want
the
some
next.
toilet paper?
I choose. Okay.
I don't need to shit yet, but I'll think about it.
Go do the doo-doos. What the fuck? Wait.
No, I don't need to. right now.
Okay. Saboon.
So you know why that was you know why that world was flooded? It's because it had a flooded in parentheses next to it. Maybe you should choose one that doesn't have that next to their fucking name.
There we
Choose
go.
Storm
I mean-
instead.
Yeah. I feel like it's gonna.
Sorry.
Let's see. Foggy. We got Foggy this time.
Popocam. Hello.
Oh, hey, it's that place I almost fell to my death in.
Oh.
Let's go.
Okay.
Alright, you do the
And we
honors.
won't be able to see where we're going.
Did we die now? Haga eso!
Oh, let's go.
God, that scared you? That's amazing.
What? No, somebody did like a mummy thingy. They redeem a mummy screaming and I freaked out. I don't
Oh,
have.
I thought Tomo's fart made you
No.
freak out.
I don't have a flashlight.
Oh, they guys took what I said. Come down.
Where is it? Tomo?
Come.
Tomo?
Here.
Oh, hello.
Also, what happened to your body last where you kept like going into the water?
I don't know. Probably I wanted to get baptized.
Oh. Alright, walk very carefully.
Okay.
Alright, I'm lost. Oh, over here. Follow me this way.
I like caca.
Okay.
Caca. Me gusta la caca.
Alright, go this way. Jump, bunny hop.
Time for some supersonic speed. You
Engine? Oh, he already grabbed
Bunny
it.
hop.
Okay.
Bunny hop. Oh, this way.
Okay. Tomo, wait for me. Tomo, wait for
Don't waste
me.
your time.
Oh
I'm
god,
scared.
Tomo, I'm scared. No. Tomo.
Oh, wait here. Don't worry. Now remember the base is straight down that way.
Engine!
Straight down that way. Oh, straight down that way. Where's that? I don't have a flashlight.
You good?
I don't have a flashlight.
That's what happens when you die, you lose everything.
I don't have dignity. I lost
That's
everything.
your dignity?
Yeah. Mamá. Oh, gracias. Tengo que arreglar eso. Jiji. Supone que está en mi cabecita. Pero volamos. Sí, sí, úselo todo. Gástelo. Oh god. Matt. Wait for me, please. Thank you.
I don't know where I'm going, so.
No funcionó el gato. Ay, qué jodienda, lo siento.
She's following you like a lost animal.
Yeah, please help me. I need a man right now. You see, you can go to the bathroom alone. No! Please don't do that. You did it on purpose. You did it on purpose. No!
Follow me.
Okay. Unfortunately. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not really good with direction. Alright, well let's take some stuff back, 'cause my flashlight's almost dead. Looks like everything's big.
Oh, yeah.
Me morí por pendeja, bro. What the fuck? Oh, God. Mira, eso no es chistoso. Yo le dije, mira, espérame. Y me esperó y me caí.
Well, I'm a terrible person. I don't know what just happened, but I think she fell down there.
Oh, God. This is so fucking funny, bro. Oh, God.
This is not good.
Oh. ¿Qué pasó? Que
Oh,
dura
let's
bien
go over the
poco.
bridges,
Oh,
though.
el gato,
Yep.
sí. Lo siento. Está muy malo, no lo use. No lo use lo del gato. Mira, pues me caí.
And flashlight.
Oh, God. Estoy muriendo, bro.
What a peaceful place. Yo, you guys been good?
Oh,
Just
it's this
remember,
way.
meet me up the wood to do the bucket. I
Maybe
cannot.
Oh. I
Oh,
might need to
God.
lose some weight.
Hold
I'm
on,
gonna
no,
break this bridge.
espera algo.
Oh, Lord Christ.
Ay, Dios mío, ese bolo. Ay, qué mala.
Oh.
Oh, God, oh, God. ¿Qué está pasando? Oh, God. Oh, God, ese gatito está muy grande, debería cambiarlo. Ay, gracias por probarlos todos. Y por eso ustedes me ven. Y por eso ustedes me ven.
It must get pretty lonely here.
Ah, hell yeah.
The bridge is broken.
Oh,
Yep.
Tomos!
Oh, I'm still alive.
on.
There's something down here.
Man.
Tomo, come with us.
Oh.
Don't stay alone.
Tomo, se jodió Tomo.
It's okay, just
Bolo
don't stay
Tomo.
alone. Stay with us. Stay with the crew.
I actually
Mhm.
don't know how to get.
Lul, lul, lul.
Back away,
we have
demons.
What a nice breeze.
Where's he going?
Sticking
Yeah,
your
with the
dick where there is.
Ah, eso sonó bajito. Tengo que arreglar alguno. Está muy malo.
I accidentally PvP'd here. Oh god.
There's a big mother. Dogs.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Run, Tomo. Okay, let me fix my mic. Mira, de verdad, no sé si todo suena bien, lo siento. Ay, Dios mío, eso no funciona tampoco. Hola, Dark Guardian. Hola. Espérate. What the fuck? Oh my God. Oh God, oh God.
God damn it.
What's going on? Oh, wait, you died! Dude, so your
Whoa,
brother
that lava
kept
looks
me
really,
locked
really
in a
hot.
room, And I was like, you're so bad. You're a bad person. And then suddenly I fell when he was walking away. He's like, and I died immediately. And your brother, I see your brother, like, perspective, like, and he was like, well, I guess I'm a bad person. You don't know what happened. God dang it.
Oh no, Matt's gonna try and get the item. No, don't do that.
Yeah, I want to see him. Alright, I've seen Tomo. Okay.
Oh, he's
You're-
going for
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna do it. He's gonna make it. Gatito.
Oh, it's hunting other animals, I guess.
Oh.
Man, everything's frozen.
Oh, Matt's
杂
so
吹号
fucked.
中国现在我有冰
I think there's a giant. It sounded large.
I'm gonna look at Tomo. Tomo's just waiting. Aww. Tomo's not saying
Yeah,
anything.
I don't think they want to deal with it.
They're locked in. They're locked in. Oh, there they
Yeah,
are.
I was gonna go for the body, but there's a giant out there now. No thanks.
Oh, okay. I guess we died. We stayed dead forever.
We live.
No.
Well, half of us do.
Yeah.
Half of us
I
live.
can't believe that PvP right. That was fun.
Oh, hey, you're the laziest.
The
one.
laziest. I told you. Yeah, I'm the laziest. Most paranoid. Most paranoid. That's funny. Hello.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
Matt,
a lot.
Matt,
I heard
What
you get eaten by
happened? What
Yeah,
happened was that I was running, and I fell to my
I
death.
believe you walked forward in the dark and then fell.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess here you go. I guess I'm a bad person. That killed the fuck out of me.
Because I heard you talking and running, and then suddenly you just got quiet.
Ah, I'm
Alright,
dying.
so, two of us no,
No,
longer
don't
have
say.
flashlights now.
Oh well,
We will survive.
it's
we will
okay. Can
thrive,
I
right?
Can I buy more flashlights? Or I don't have anything.
No, we don't have money.
No money.
Oh, just
We
like
have
in
to
real
finish the
life.
next round
Oh, you
first.
pretty
Midnight
do.
here, take this.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah,
gotta
take this
finish
one.
the.
They have a stop sign though.
Don't trust me, Tomo. I recommend that I follow you instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Wait, you can't afford what? Oh, my bad.
Remember, we don't have any.
Well, what do we
oh,
do?
Oh, you're talking about the last. Oh, yeah, sorry. The last three are the ones that are super expensive. We can't afford them.
That is so gaga. Well, whatever. When in doubt, die. Anyways, I'm joking. No, do not do that. If you die, I'm gonna
I'm-
kill you.
I mean, you died twice.
They did. Sorry, I saw something funny. Somebody redeemed something hilarious. You gotta redeem the Kirineta. Go to my stream immediately. Go Tomo. I want you guys to see it too. It's hilarious. At least for me, it is. Okay. Wait. I think I read. Did we? Which one? Haven't I not? Okay. Okay. Oh, I wrote it wrong.
I still understood it though, so I guess it works out.
Okay. God dang it! Where do we go? We die?
We gotta go to Val.
Okay.
I think that one doesn't have much storm or weather. anyway.
Okay, let's go. Thank you, Tomo. Sí, Toxic, los añadí nuevos. Me pica. Oh. I always forget that I gotta exit from there. Okay,
Okay,
who's gonna be my
Nikita,
designated?
turn
Yes.
around.
Real.
It was you.
It was actually
Turn around.
It was you. It was you.
Wait, what'd I do?
You twerk too much. I'm gonna
What?
fight you.
Wait, what? Wait.
No,
No.
Tomo
He's not
didn't do
twerking.
anything.
oh God! I almost
Don't
fell
tell
to
me
my.
to
I almost did.
You pushed me into the fire.
I
almost
did
died.
not. That was all in your head.
Oh, oh.
Come on. Keep going. Keep going, I'll beat you up. Tomo, I seen your fansly. How dare you?
I don't even. Oh, there's the main entrance. It's that way.
Ari!
And there's the bridge.
Ari!
And I'm going to fire exit. Ah.
Let's go.
Whee! Oh, no, 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 no.
Imagine he died.
If I didn't. If I did, it will not be surprising.
Oh, Midnight, I'm gonna teach you how to jump again. Jump. Oh, you fell.
You want me to die? Oh god, my mom's gonna kill me for laughing too hard. Me van a matar por reírme mucho, chap.
You made it. Congratulations.
Hold on, let me fix my microphone. Sorry. I forgot to mute. Sorry. Okay. Espérate. Ahí está. Mi mamá me va a matar. Wait for me.
I need you to go in there. No demo.
Tomo, you're lying to me.
No, we good. I was just making sure it was safe.
Hold on. Okay. Fixing my mic because I couldn't do shit.
Alright, this is the. Oh, look! Gift! Grab that. You need that.
It's mine now.
Yep, alright. You know where the ship is? Oh, yeah, Carrie. We
Not
we're
really.
good.
No, I
Alright, come
don't.
this way. We go downstairs.
Tomo.
Grab this too.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Turn this off, hold on. I go first. Found it. See that? That's how you turn off the balcony.
Oh.
Now you can see it. Door. We found the thingy.
You what now?
So, this thing, right? So when you do
Look.
it, you do this. So grab this. No, grab this thing right here.
But I want the duck.
Oh, no. Grab
Okay.
whatever. Yeah, grab that.
Okay. Tomo? Tomo, why are you... Tomo?
Alright, they're coming. The demons are coming.
What?
Go outside, go.
Tomo, what's going on? Sí, ya comí. Hola, Toxi, lo siento. Sí, ya comí. ¿Y ya
Oh
comiste
god, you're
tú?
very heavy. You're breaking the bridge.
It's
You're
fine.
breaking the
Everything's gonna
bridge.
be fine. Don't worry, Tomo. Ah! Oh, God. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Come on.
He's using me, Tomo.
Oh no, I'm helping
You're
you.
using me.
Hurry, the monsters are coming.
Oh, God. I can't run, Tomo. No te puedes, estás concentrado en el juego, es cierto, sí. Pero ya comió usted. Oh, you ate? No. You ate dinner? ¿Comiste cena?
Follow me this way.
Okay, I'm
Ship over here.
doing that. I'm just really slow, Tomo. I'm sorry.
Faster, grandma. No,
Oh,
joking.
God. Estoy cenando, de hecho. Que come, buen provecho.
Alright, jump from here.
Wait,
Yeah, jump from this rock right here.
no. Do you think I'm gonna make it,
Yeah.
Tomo?
Oh no, you gotta like. Oh wait, you know what? Okay, I got an idea. Drop it. Press G.
G. I glitched out. Okay,
There you go.
and now? What are you gonna do now? How do you do
I
that?
did it.
Mine.
I just pressed G.
Ando viendo
Yeah, forget it.
pozole.
That's gonna cost a lot of money. This is good stuff. This is the best stuff.
Buen provecho.
Oh.
Okay.
Jump on the floor, sorry.
Okay. G. G. G.
Let's go see if your other friends are. I think they're dead.
No, they're fine. Oh, the ducky! Oh, I love the ducky so much.
All right, since you're the leader, you give the call. We leave or we go find them.
You go find them, of course. I love them. Let's go.
Let's go.
Pow, 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 pow. Wait, Tomo, where are you? Okay. How
But
do we?
remember, if we both die, then we have to start over. Say, please return by 4 vote has been. Oh, I think they're voting. They're voting. Let's go. Let's go.
How do they vote if they're dead?
Oh yeah, you can vote when you're dead. So I think they
No,
might
they
vote.
can't do that.
Yeah. Oh wait, you press it. Yeah, go.
Okay, now what?
Drop the duck. It's
Oh,
not gonna count.
oh,
Don't
oh
drop it,
god,
drop it,
oh god,
drop
oh,
it, drop
oh,
it,
oh.
Okay.
Okay. Did we win?
No.
We didn't?
Nope. We didn't have enough money.
No. Sustained the most injuries. Deceased. Deceased. The laziest employee. Oh, damn.
Oh. Okay.
Hello, welcome
You were,
back.
you were about to get Tomo killed by bringing them back.
Alright, Lord, see here.
I want that.
You have 0
Grab
days
it.
left to meet
I like caca.
You can use the terminal to route the autopilot to the company.
Huh?
Alright, we're selling
¿Cómo es?
stuff.
¿Cómo es? What the fuck? Okay, you sell all this stuff. Here you go,
Wait.
Mom.
Yep, don't sell this
Oh.
flashlight.
No,
¿Qué
no, no, no.
pasó?
No,
¿Qué?
no, no, here, I'll show you. Grab the items. pick them up,
Okay.
okay, and then go with me.
¿Ya vieron bebé Chipe? No. Wait, ¿ese es el hipopótamo? ¿El bebé hipopótamo? Yeah, I'll kill Tomo later. ¿Pero qué co-
Wait, who got these? What?
I got her.
¡Qué cabrones! What the fuck? How dare they? I feel so betrayed. Me mataron. Mira cómo se ríe de
She's
mí.
so trusting of me. I feel bad.
Como-
Oh,
¿Qué
dear God,
cojones?
that's too funny.
¿Tuviste eso? Mira cómo ella hizo eso. What the fuck? Mi video es que le pegas y se transforma.
People are brutal.
¿Hay que pegarle? Un GP bebé. ¿GP bebé se le pega? ¿Desde cuándo le estamos pegando a los
Oh, that's
bebés?
too funny.
Ahora viene alguien aquí. Pues mi mamá me pegaba. Y yo, ay,
Alright, well, we
diablo.
can order stuff
La
now.
mía también.
So,
La mía también. Pew, 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 meow, meow, meow.
let's see.
Mira, yo no sé si los alertas están saliendo, pero si no están saliendo voy a llorar. Ya me abandonaron. Cojones. Mira qué bonita. Bueno, si quieres que te transformes, si le pegas, ah, pues está bien. Yo le pego. Tráelo para acá.
And
¿Qué es eso? Pero,
This makes my
mira,
autism
perdón, estoy
happy.
tratando de hacer algo. Esta cosa se va para la mierda. Wait, no, I do kinda need it. Hold on. Qué especial soy. Estoy arreglando algo, lo siento. Jiji, I'm fixing something, my bad.
is that it?
There you go. That
I don't think
sounds,
there's anything else.
that
Oh,
seems
there's one.
fair.
Oh.
Okay.
Bueno, sí,
you guys been down
ok,
here?
pero no sé en qué mapa sale. ¡Ah! Eso es en el juego. Ay, qué pendeja. Bro. Está bien, sí,
Like
buscamos al GP y lo matamos ahí, que se joda.
Oh yeah.
Le pegamos, perdón, le pegamos. Mira qué mala, Ari está pasada. Mi amiga está haciendo maldades, ¿viste eso? What the
How do I
fuck?
use this, by the way? I don't remember the button.
Pensaba que era pegarle a bebés en IRL. Mira, también
I'm gonna
pensé
mix
eso.
my autism very
El
happy,
GP
I
bebé.
appreciate that. Alright.
Mira, mira, mira. Mira cómo yo me voy a portar con Ari. Mira, mira, mira. Oh my god!
Oh, I'm gonna hear it from Kide
Hooray.
when she gets
Hi,
back.
Lycario. Hello. Hola. Hola, bienvenido.
I'm gonna hear it from her when she revives.
Bienvenido, bienvenido. Estoy jugando Little Company por la primera vez. ¿Cómo están? Ari, how dare you?
Hi.
How dare you? I trusted you. We have a raid. Everybody say hello.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Bienvenido.
Welcome to the stream.
Soy aburrida, pero así vale. Te trajo una Miri. Gracias por la Miri, Miri. ¿Cómo está Miri? Mira, ahora tengo CPU nuevo y ya la PC corre de wows. Se llama Lycaios. Lycaios. Perdón. De español muy caca. ¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo andamos? ¿Cómo va todo? ¡Qué bueno! Bienvenido. Gracias. Un reporte aquí. Ok.
Oh, hey, free flashlight.
A ver, espérate. Plup, plup, plam, plam. Plum, plup, plam, plam. Ah, pero si juega de terror. Happy Halloween. Ya, estamos en Halloween. ¿Qué está pasando? Do I need to do something? I'm saying hello to everybody that just joined my bed.
Dice. Mensajito para Lycaios Chichi.
Yo no sé si todos esos
¿Qué le hace? Va a
alcanzan.
morir esta morra.
Dos. Hola, buena, venga de la red. Hola, Chichi. Bienvenido.
Si
Okay,
ese
me
va a
coge.
salir, hijo de su
Oh, claro,
chingada
claro,
madre.
Yeah,
Right here.
Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Where is it?
Now, so grab,
Oh,
The yellow one.
grab the walkie-talkie too.
yes, sir.
Okay, and turn it on and press Q. Right,
Oh,
left click and use it.
okay.
Here, I'll show you. Watch. Hello.
Oh. Oh. Hello. Hello. Okay, that's really cool. ¿Va lag? ¿El stream va en lag? Oh, no. ¿En serio? Ah, qué mierda. Qué mierda. Mi primera vez jugando este juego y ya volamos. Está bien, a lo mejor lo arreglo después. Lo arreglaré después. Gracias a todos por venir. En las redes, espero que hayan tenido un bonito stream. Y comenzamos el mes de octubre. ¡Wow! Te quiero hablar como puertorriqueña. Acho, mami, es que tú estás bien buena. Estás bien buena. Creo que estoy perdida en el juego. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. No, no, no. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll behave. Okay. Tacho. Ahí está, te hablé como puertorriqueña. Supongo que... Ah, ok. ¿Será? Qué raro. Uy. Sí. Mira, yo creo que yo me perdí. Me perdí. Oh, no. Bueno, ya saben. Mi tercera vez esta noche jugando este juego. Odio los juegos de terror, bro. Pero es Halloween, así que tenemos que jugar jueguitos de terror. Aunque esté perdida. Hold on. Ay, qué genial. ¿Cómo se...? ¿No lo puedo usar? Hello. 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 ¿Cómo yo uso esto? Oh, shit, no. Mira, no sé usarlo. Yo amo y odio los juegos de terror. Bro, yo no puedo con ellos. Me dan ansiedad. Ok, mira, ya aprendí cómo jugar esto, mira. ¡Whippy! ¡Ay! 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 ¡Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God! Ok, ahí está. ¡Ah! Perdón, perdón si no estoy diciendo mucho, porque el juego me tiene loca. ¿Qué chiquita hermosa? ¿Hay que chismear uno de estos días? Sí. He estado tan ocupada. Ok, ya estoy adentro. Perfecto. Oh, yeah, my flashlight. Genial. Oh. Espérate. Hello. ¿No me deja? Tenemos que hablar. Sí, sí, sí. Hablar y jugar. Ay, sí, por favor. Gracias por el SEO de Miri.
Saquen la cartera, hijo de su maíz, pelo maíz, es un asalto, unicornio.
Sí, sí, un mensajito, mi sí.
¡Ay!
Yo quiero volver a hablar con ustedes. What the fuck. Y la PC se No, no, yo no quiero salir. La PC se había muerto. Ah, pensé que era basura. No me digas que todo el mundo murió. Está muy raro esto. Yo que no sé nada. Oh, God. Ah, que no se ve. Bueno, me metí como quiera. Mira, si yo muero, pues morí. Hola, mi momento chivicito, momento chivi, qué bonita. ¿Has crecido? Eso es bueno. No. Okay. So far, so good, I guess. Oh, 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 oh. Okay. A ver. Ay, no. No sabía que iba a ser tan pesado. Ok. Ok. Ahora buscar la salida, I guess. ¿Será por aquí? ¡Ah! ¡Ah, ah, 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 ah! ¡Ah, la, 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 la! ¡La, la, 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 la! ¡La, la, 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 la! Ok. Ta na 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 na. Na 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 na. Me estoy cantando para no cagarme. Oh god, oh god, oh god, why you do that? Why you do that? Don't do that. Mi culito se
Go back to the
cerró,
ship.
don't do that. Yeah, I'm going back to the ship. I'm talking to everybody. Cause dang, I feel I'm not paying attention to them. Yo me hago bolita detrás de Reina y me pierde y lloro y Reina viene a buscar. Reina es alguien que te quiere mucho y siempre te va a proteger. Siempre. Así que sí. Vaya con ella. Oh god. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Sorry, sorry, sorry. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I don't like this. Oh, goodness me. Ship? Oh, finally. Okay. We found the ship. We found the ship. Culito. Yeah, bro. Culito. Culito. Ok. Ok, ya. Yo no tengo que spamear eso. Se acabó.
Alright, we gotta... Do we have to teleport her back?
Help. Help.
No,
Nick,
wait.
but she's right outside.
Help.
Man, no, hurry, the
Help.
monsters are coming!
Help.
Wait, come this way. Come on,
Help.
She can't get up.
Help.
Keep going to the other side.
Help. Help. Somebody that
The
knows
other
game.
side.
Somebody that
Go to
knows.
this side.
Thank
This
you.
side, this side.
Oh, I didn't
Okay,
know.
and now, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We did
Well,
it.
let's grab the rest. Let's grab the rest of the stuff. We still have some stuff over there.
Okay.
There's more.
Hay más.
And they got the
Alright, I'll
Let's
stay by the
go.
ship. Just in case if you guys all die. I'll stay here.
Okay. You watch me die. Okay.
Wait.
Bye. Bye. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye, bus driver.
Bye bye. Okay. Ay. 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 Digo ay porque estoy perdida. Ah, okay. Stinky me. Pam, pam, pam. Nah, niveles más difíciles. Hay más monstruos. Oh.
I guess they did grab everything. I didn't even realize.
We did?
Yeah, I guess they did.
Okay, let's go. Whoopee. Nos vamos. Nos vamos. Let's go. We're leaving. Get the fuck out of
Okay.
here. Hurry the fuck up.
Meow.
Meow, meow. Now we
You
wait.
should order after the you should order more radio thingy so we can all talk when we're all far away.
I have a radio thingy and I don't know how to use it.
Oh yeah, I meant like you should buy 2 more so then like cause you two got I need one.
Yeah, it's because you didn't turn it on.
Well,
How do I turn it on?
That's
It's
cute.
okay.
the main entrance had a thumper.
There,
God dang
it's
it.
on now.
Ooh.
Don't go in there.
Over. I'm sorry, I have ADHD. Over. Did I say over? Over.
Alright, we're going.
Alright, but yeah, buy 2 more. Cause I want one.
Yeah, we'll bite. I don't think Matt likes using walkie, but do you like
Okay,
using
no.
walkie?
We didn't. They're
Do you
saying
want
there's.
a walkie or no?
They're saying they want to see us go to a very difficult map, but I don't know if we have the money for it.
We do not have the money yet.
Ok, aún no tenemos el dinero, pero una vez que tengamos dinero vamos al mapa difícil.
Just say we're poor.
Somos pobres. ¡Hola! Bienvenida.
Store walkie. Walkie talkie.
Walkie talkie. Say hola. For he told me.
Hola.
Yeah.
Uh,
He told me here. He told me here.
There you go. Okay.
Somos fan.
Let's go.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. Over.
Big culo.
Big culo over.
Grande
It's
culo.
funny because
Grande
I have it
culo
off.
over.
Also, your walkie-talkies are gonna be over
Okay.
here.
Alright, thank you. I never meant that to have it on.
It's not on his walkie.
Okay, over. Over.
You're gonna die. Over.
My culito is closing. Over. Over. Oh, I forgot my pills. Over.
There's my walkie! Right behind you! Oh, there.
Over.
I'm gonna put the other one in the ship because Matt doesn't want it.
A ver cómo se encuentran. Over. Over. Yeah.
It's
Over?
funny. I was just hearing her laugh. I was just hearing you laugh, and you're talking to nobody right now.
Goodbye.
Cut it off.
Over. I am gonna go poopies. Over. Over.
You're gonna poop.
Yeah, I'm gonna do doo doo. Over.
Kitty, go to the main entrance. Come on.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Over. I have ADHD. Over.
No shit. Over.
Yeah, main entrance is all cleared out. Let's go.
Something over. 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 My chat says over. Over. Oh god.
Oh, man, please give us your location.
I don't know where the fuck I am. Over. Over. I love that Tom was taking the role seriously. Okay. I am close to the main entrance. Over. No, I am. I am not close to the main entrance. My bad. Over.
I'm gonna sacrifice myself.
Don't die. Over. Oh, the over, the over, the over. Yeah. Así mismo. Así over. ¡Ah! ¡Ay! 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 ¡El culo! El culo. Oh, ok. Espérate. Sopillo.
Oh, well, she's here.
We gotta get out of here!
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing my job. Estoy haciendo mi trabajo, ¿viste? La chamba. ¿Coca-Cola o Pepsi? Dime tú. ¿Qué eligerás? Wait, where's the ship again? Oh, am I stupid? No, don't answer that.
Oh, let's follow this way.
Don't answer that. Don't answer that. No sé si es algo que tuviera lógica. No, dice, de verdad, sí tiene lógica. Tiene lógica, tiene lógica. ¿Dónde puñetas estoy, bro? Hold on. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola cero. Las subs valen 7... Ah, va. Qué cacahuate. Yo ni... Mi wallet's over. Bueno. Volamos. La cosa está mala. Mira. Me perdí.
Midnight, we lost you. What happened?
Are you dead?
I need an adult. Over. Over.
Oh my fucking god. Hold right click. Just keep right clicking until you comp. It's just where you need to go. It just says ship. Or main entrance. Good luck, soldier.
I'm not smart, but I'll do my very best. Over. I see a body.
Come follow me. The ship is right there.
Where is it?
Straight ahead, no, straight ahead that way, right there.
Oh
Straight ahead.
God, I thought.
To your left, to your left, to your left, to your left, to your left.
Is this though? Is this it?
No, no, no.
Okay.
Yeah, just straight
oh,
ahead.
Okay. No. Sí, esos $7 ya volamos, gente. Volamos, chicos. No más dinero. No más comida. Tomo, do you know subs are $7 now?
Okay, is anybody dead?
I'm done.
Maybe? I don't know. What is everyone
There's
here?
a
Te
loot
pierda,
button
yo me
just like-
pierdo.
There's a loot bug with like 3 items under it, but I'm not gonna contest
Espero
Yeah,
haberte
we don't have
ayudado.
anything
De
to
verdad que
attack
sí
it.
ayudaste,
There's still
muchas
one more item in
gracias.
front of
A
the
precios
entrance, I don't
nuevos.
know. You want it? I mean, alright, yeah, we got it. Where's Tomo?
Oh wait, hang on, let me
Hang on.
drop my flashlight in
Oh.
case I get fucking destroyed.
Yeah, Tomo.
Okay.
Over.
Why are there holes?
back with the last stop off over.
I don't know.
Over, okay. Over and out. I mean, not out, but yeah, I guess. You understand what I'm saying? Over. 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 Se te usar el switch en el phone. Oh. What? Or.
I hate that. Okay, I'm ready.
See. Happy Halloween. Entiendo lo que dice en inglés. ¿En serio? One of my viewers understand what you guys are saying. This is awesome. Qué bueno, Miri.
Hola.
Hola. Everybody say hola.
Hola.
I'll try my best.
Hola.
Hola.
Aw. Hola.
Get shot. He did get shot.
Oh no.
Wait, hold on. I know one way to check.
Okay.
And he's dead.
Veo Twitch movie. Y acá está como $3.50. Wow.
Midnight, someone just
What
died,
happened?
buddy,
Oh.
you're dead.
Someone grab his body. Alright, hold on, I got her.
How do I do this? Did it work? What? How do I do? What do I do?
We can't.
It just made you drop your stuff though.
Oh.
Thank you.
Wait. What do I do with his body?
Wait, it's not
But
showing
we
any of
gotta.
that stuff that I just picked up in my inventory. What?
It's okay. We gave him as a sacrifice over here. Hold on. How do I drop him? Okay. Eat. Eat his body now. Oh, great pumpkin lord.
Yeah,
This-
it's like glitched
No
so
sea
bad
conchina.
right now.
Okay. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Midnight.
What?
Hello.
Hello. I understand. Yes, I understand. Yeah. Miri understands us. Say she's pretty. Tomo. Cause she's a unicorn
You.
VTuber.
Me?
Oh.
What did I do?
There was stuff by the door.
No, you're fine.
There was one item left. Did someone take it?
I did not do anything.
I swear there was one item left. Cause yeah, that was like a sheet metal, I think, that I dropped. I'm sorry.
¿Eres un unicornio? Sí.
Wait, Matt, then why did you go in?
Una princesa unicornio.
Well, I thought
Síganla.
maybe you meant like
Sigue,
close
ya
to
se
the door
stream.
as in inside.
Oh, no, definitely
Síguela,
not.
síguela. Otro
Wait,
SO
are
a
we going
Miri,
back to the company?
please. Porfis.
Don't we still have a day left?
Oh.
Yeah, let's get more money.
Y otro el que los hizo reír. Ya creo que ya no está, pero...
¿Qué?
Ah, unicornio, perdón. Dije unicornio. Qué
¿Qué?
falta de respeto. ¿Qué pasó que tú quieres, Tomo?
mic here.
Oh,
We looked
ay, de santo tomo. Ay,
¿Qué?
santo tía.
at- Just like where you talking to.
Kire,
Yes, mom?
Kire,
Yes, mom?
you're at the wrong person. That's not your mom.
Oh, sorry. Yo, what the fuck are you? Get the fuck out of here.
You just walked over to Matt.
Oh.
Qué rico
Whose
sabe el
flashlight
asado.
and walkie-talkie is this?
It's Kire's.
Pero ¿cómo saben
Wait,
cómo
what?
sabe
Pick them
asado?
up
What the
and
fuck?
they
¿Ustedes han comido ciervo?
Yeah,
Sí.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yo
what
la
is going on
mantengo
with my
encerrada.
arm?
I don't know. You have to just drop the stuff
Que no salga.
and then pick it up again. That's how it fixed it for me.
Okay. Wait, whose
Pow,
flashlight
pow,
and
pow,
walkie is
pow.
this?
Get the fuck out of here.
There should be a yellow one and a walkie-talkie that is hers, but it started glitching out.
Oh.
Something 2 items at once. Walkie-talkie's gonna be out of battery.
For this one,
Oh. Alright, Mindy, we gotta go. Let's go.
Okay,
Come on, let's
okay.
go,
Oh,
let's go.
somebody changed it to March.
I'm lost. Over.
Bees.
Sí, síguela, síguela. Wait, which way? Which way? Over. Oh, okay,
You
never
get chased
mind.
by bees, you get chased by-
I like bees. Please.
actually going in this time?
This way.
Let's go.
Okay.
Do not fall
I'm
for
following
the love of
Tomo
God.
over.
If you fall, is dead. Oh, I gotta turn on my radio. Alright, it's on.
Whoa. Sorry. It's over. Hello. Over. Meow. Meow.
Guys, do not go through the main entrance. We have a bad monster there.
You know, I think it's a really good idea to go to the main entrance. Tomo's right there. Over.
What?
Let's find the fire exit. There should be one
Yeah.
over here.
I lost the sauce.
know where
Over.
What?
¿Qué está
Oh my God,
pasando?
Midnight.
Oh, it's
Midnight,
doggies.
touch that.
Oh, it's dogs. Where? What's going on? What's going on? No, help, 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 help. Qué pendejada. Qué cojones. Ustedes son malos. Sí, no son motes. Úselos. Let's fucking go. Yeah. What the fuck? No puede ser. No puede ser. Me dejaron sola. No, este cabrón, mira cómo se ríe. You're laughing at me. I did not want to do that. I was like, what's going on? Why am I going down? And suddenly I hear Tommy, no, cute, nothing.
He's gonna die too. Bet.
That's your brother. I'm seeing your brother. Over into the over, yeah.
Man.
Is he saying meow to call Tomo? That is the cutest thing ever.
It's really funny. Matt doesn't even know that both of us died in one sitting. It's so
Meow.
quick.
God dang it. Oh god, this is hilarious. I'm glad I'm playing this game tonight. I needed this.
Hello? Okay. So.
He's gonna die.
Wait, let me-
Wait,
Hello?
what?
Oh, I was gonna say, so Midnight fell in the mud and died, and then I think your girlfriend.
No!
called
It's
me.
your girlfriend.
Oh man, you're gonna catch some heat for that one.
They're both dead.
Oh no, someone doesn't know. Oh, sweet angel. Sweet baby cakes. Oh god. We gotta tell them. Yeah, I gotta tell them. People in chat are fucking dying. Aprovechando que hay gente que ve nueva que queremos. Oh god, oh god. Thank you, Toxic, for the gifted sub. Thank you so much. Oh my god. Thank you, thank you. We gotta gift a sub out of this, Ari. We gotta gift a sub out of this. Somebody gifted a sub. Yippee. Thank you. Sí.
All that
Gracias.
drowning. You drowned for the good.
Oh, God. El rico humillando al pobre. Sí. Oh, God. Toxic, lo que pasó, Tomo pensó que Ari y su hermano son novios. Y estamos aquí muriéndonos de la risa. Le dijo, oh, tu novia. Oh my God. Thanks for that gift of sub. Enjoy the emotes, Miri. Disfruta los emotes, Miri. Jiji. Sí, él va a la chamba. Él tiene chamba. Okay. I love it. Oh, God. Let me see what Tomo is doing. The best one. The best one. I'm scared. Ari, you scared me in stream. How dare you? ¿Quién? ¿Quién era
Oh,
no?
man.
No.
I'm not looking forward to telling.
No, I'm like, Tomo, I'm their sister. They're gonna feel so awkward. I love this. I'm so
Tomo,
excited.
This is not
I'm lost.
Alabama.
I'm so
Tomo.
excited to tell them.
This is not
I can't
Alabama.
wait for their reaction. I'm so scared. Me too. I'm scared too. Mommy, help. I'll help you. Don't worry. I'll tell my mom to help. Hey, Mom, can you help me in chat? Yeah. They're asking, hey, Mommy, help. I'm like, hold on. I'll ask my own mother. And then you're my mom.
I'm not.
Yeah, they're my mom. They say no. Oh, God. They always say no. So I love that Burn didn't notice. Did he notice? And he's like, well, I'll get some heat out of that. Good. Oh, God, why is it so loud? I don't like that. Oh, God, it became super loud. Oh, God. Oh, God. Kira noises, yeah. Deceased. I'm the laziest. Why does it sound like boogers? Oh, bienvenida.
Tomo.
Hey, Tomo, we have something to tell you.
Tomo, he's my brother.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. All I know is I'm so sorry. Oh, I don't know anything. I'm so sorry. My bad. I'm so sorry.
You did it, Tomo. It was you.
No,
it
no,
was
I didn't
you,
know.
Tomo. How dare you?
No.
Everybody point at Tomo. Everybody point at Tomo. Point
I
at
didn't know
Tomo.
anything.
Point at Tomo.
Oh.
I'm joking. Pew,
Also, we need to clip the part you draw.
I gotta be.
No, don't do that. Don't do
You
that.
went to the bud.
Chat is pointing at you, Tomo. They're pointing at you. Thank you for the pat pat. Ahí está sobándome en el aire, pero... ¿Cómo te encuentras, Jeff? Bienvenida.
Alright, Kira.
Yes?
Chase it. Go on.
Oh,
Go chase it.
what?
Chase it. Look.
Wait, what do you want me to do?
Look. It's Tomo. Get it.
Wait, I want it.
Look, at the laser.
Oh. My ADHD brain is happy. Meow.
And it's gone.
Why do you do this, Tomo? ¿Cómo estás, Kira? Siempre gusto estar aquí para usted. Bienvenida, igualmente. Bienvenida. Estoy feliz. Tomo.
Yeah. Meow.
Wait. Oh, food is ready. Food's ready. 4K. Wait, what are they trying to do? I think we gotta sell stuff. Okay. Don't laugh at me. Paycheck. Tomo, don't laugh at me. I'll point.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't
don't.
know.
How dare you? I'm scared. Come
She
on.
knows to run away now.
Yeah, because you scared me. How dare you? Ari, how dare you? You're worse than Chan.
What did I do? I'm just.
You scared. I'm joking.
I'm teaching you things. Okay.
It's okay, it's okay. Say that when you betrayed me,
See?
you were like,
No,
get
no,
it.
you-
I'm
you
joking, I'm
learn.
being silly.
No.
I
see,
learned
you
now.
learn. You learn to not go near. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, the last
You
one,
just haven't
come on.
died.
That's true.
You just haven't
You,
died. It's fine.
you're going to die another time, day. Ah, yo que sí quisiera asustarla.
Are we missing any
Oh, it is
flashes?
you.
Or do we have enough?
My pumpkin!
Huh? Ah, yeah.
Oh, me and
Yeah.
Kide died. So
And Pure,
I guess I have to
Y asústame. Tengo que poner unos redeems para el día de
You
Halloween.
saw my radio.
I'm glad I did. Wait, your radio? No, I did not. What?
Oh, okay.
Wait, I did not see. No, it was on the floor. I saw it on the floor earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is gone. I need one. I just need a radio.
I'm not giving you mine.
Also, I think we
joking.
should have enough to go to one of the higher floors. I think maybe.
Yes, we do.
Time for some supersonic speed. What I got?
Meow 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 meow
Flashlight.
meow
I didn't get wet.
Bow, 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 bow. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, 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 bow,
It must get pretty lonely here.
Ah, estoy jodido. Ay, gracias por la agüita.
Midnight.
Yeah.
Stand right here. Like, stand this spot.
Mm.
Over here, Midnight. This way. Yeah, stand right here. Damn it!
But you wanted to kill me again? You guys are so mean to me. How dare you? You all want me dead? I
We
wanna.
didn't do anything.
Tomo is trying to get her.
Go down.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Oh yeah, look,
What
this is
a
the new
peaceful
thing.
place. Yo,
What?
you guys been
Oh,
good?
God.
Just
Over
remember, meet me
This
up
never
with
used
what
to
they
be
did
here.
about the collab.
Where are you, Tomo?
Yeah. It's to get an extra achievement. You go
Tomo?
down here.
Tomo, where are you?
Yeah.
Oh. No, you guys want me
Over
killed.
here. Over here.
No,
I
no,
want to
no,
see
no.
you first.
No, there's a
Alright, yeah. Okay, you get achievement.
See?
God dang it. Booty hole.
Ah, she's got a decoder!
Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. What the fuck? Oh my god. This joke selling furry. Welcome to the stream. Also, I'm stuck. My friend hates me.
No, we got you there.
This is Tomo. Tomo, look at the stream. Look at me. Look at me. This is Tomo. They're furry.
No.
I'm joking.
No. Destroy you.
Also, I draw furries. Whipping.
Alright, we're going to the hardest moon.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the crazy place
Is
now,
that
Midnight.
name real? It seems so. And I liked it.
Oh, is everyone on? Okay, yes. I didn't even check. I should have probably checked.
I am a furry, so I'm proud. Meow 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 meow.
We're gonna die.
Oh. Are you ready, Midnight?
Yeah. Hold on, no, I'm
Let's
not.
play server. We have enough money.
What a nice breeze.
Oh,
Sticking
yes,
your
the
gear
hottest one
where there
happens to not
is
have
a-
any storms going on.
Let's go!
I like to, but I can't believe it.
Alright, you have to have you walk you off for this one.
Okay, sir.
Man.
Alright, let's go.
Wanna eat? I'm hungry.
Be hunting.
It's Sonic, yeah.
Die!
What the fuck? Why you do that? Don't kill me.
Don't jump yet.
No.
Oh, I remember this place.
Oh, she was about to too.
Yeah.
Let's go. Alright, see that level is S plus, very hard.
Who
Up
will
the stair
die
midnight.
first?
Yeah.
Sorry. I had to.
No, it's for super cool
Whoa.
plus.
Wait. Okay. Where's my cat? Probably sleeping. Meow, 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 meow. Or... Espérate. Espérate. Ok, ahí está.
Remember to turn on your walkies.
Over. Okay, over. Evil Company, compañía letal. Sí, eso es cierto. Muy cierto. Hello.
Good luck.
No. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Good luck for you too.
Well, we're gonna go downstairs. There's nothing there.
It's true.
Down this way.
Don't believe you.
Come on, midnight.
You're coming
No,
this way?
midnight. No, midnight.
Okay. Sorry. You sounded like my mom. No!
Oh, look, a thing for you. Look, to brush your hair.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. Oh, since I have 2 items, I can't carry more than 2 items. This is sad.
No, you're good. Alright, carry this one. This thing right here.
You just want me to die.
No. Oh my god, it's the back room.
We can sing here. Actually, I always wanted to be one of these rooms. But since I have tinnitus, I think that will be torturous for me.
Oh yeah, same. Alright, follow me.
Like,
I'll lead you back
okay.
this way.
I'm hungry.
Me too.
I'm gonna eat.
Wait, I lied. Come back this way.
You for me, Tomo.
Alright, what you can do is you can just leave the stuff outside and come back in.
Okay.
Yeah, you can leave it right here. Grab the brush.
I am
Now we go back in, let's go.
learning. Estoy aprendiendo.
Oh, that's scary.
What? That's fine. It's just them.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Now let's keep going straight.
My battery died on my thingy. I think it's because this is a green one.
Oh, yes, green.
Oh no, I'm having a cramp. Tomo is God. Yeah, they're God. Tomo's God. Oh God. Reviví de bienvenida de vuelta. ¿Cómo estás, reina?
Follow me this way.
Mi reina. Digo, Miri, Dios mío, siempre se me olvida. I just called a friend their girlfriend's name. I'm so embarrassed. I was like, hello. And they were like, what the fuck? Perdón.
Come back this way.
Oh, God. Espérate. Oh, there you go. Wait, Tomo. Wait for me. Yo leí, reina, huevo, me tocó, sí, te tocó subir.
This way.
Disfruta los emotes. Pipi. Okay, hold
Oh,
on.
God, we're lost.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's okay, Tomo. Oh, there's still... wait, even my thingy died. Oh, wait.
Okay, the exit is over there, so we're good. Let's go this way.
Wait, no, wait. How do I turn this on?
Behind you! No! Midnight! No! We're gonna... This way! Go here! No! Go! Before he comes to kill us!
My butt.
Okay. Ooh. No, we're going. Go, we're gonna go back.
I thought I was down here. Hello.
Oh, we almost died.
I'm done. I'm almost
What?
done. Two.
The bracket?
Yeah.
Oh.
My everything doesn't have any battery, and I'm sad.
It's okay, let's
Oh,
go.
God.
To recharge it.
I
let's
keep
go charge it.
dropping my stuff. Sí, ese es el chat. Ustedes son el huevito dragón. Con patitas. Pow, pow, pim, 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 pim. I hope I'm going the right direction. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Por qué tú te ríes de mí?
Nothing.
You laughing at me?
No. Inclínense. No.
Me representa completamente, sí. Así mismo son. Juan,
Oh, the charger's gonna go back.
please open the door.
I kept her.
How dare you?
Walkie,
Uh-oh. Stay in, stay in, stay in, stay in, stay in.
I wanna go outside.
You do not want to go outside.
Hey, you big bitch. ¿Cómo cachar? Pensé que éramos de
Yeah, go check 'em
ratera.
out. Go. Check them out.
Okay, okay,
You're
yeah.
fine. You're safe on the deck. You're okay.
I don't believe.
Amiga, there's a freaking giant.
Open.
You fucker.
Okay. Hola, Karaki, bienvenido. Oh, he died. You dude,
Yeah,
you
I
just saw your brother died in front of you. With your very eyes, you saw him. How do you feel?
We lost money.
Oh damn,
We
that's
lost a
true.
lot of
We
money.
lost a lot of money.
I'll try to open
Oh,
the door
God.
and then somebody
Oh,
closed it,
God.
then I open it.
Mataron al hermano y ella ahí, bueno, perdimos dinero. GG. GG. Or something Jade would say.
Alright.
GG.
Oh, okay, I was about to jump.
GG.
Then they go out there and laugh at them.
Okay,
Laugh at the
okay.
monster.
Wait, did you just see that? Like fly? Wait.
Yeah.
Smells like trash.
What was that? Whoa, that was
Yeah,
so
I
weird.
don't know. I don't know.
You don't want to go outside, yeah. Kira, see me. Dude, yeah, that's me. Yo quiero ver todo. I'm the laziest, it seems. Like always. That's what my parents say
Thanks for
about
that,
me.
whoever did that.
Vete por alimentar al gatito. Tenía
Honestly, I
hambre.
think we were trying to get her, but then you got destroyed in the process.
I think we could go again too, right? Yeah, we could go back in there again.
Yes.
Perdón. Sorry.
I can't see what the weather is on it.
The weather is lovely. Si recupera su cuerpo, creo que no pierden dinero. Oh, bueno. Perdimos
Okay,
el
I bought a new
cuerpo.
flashlight for you, so you can get another one. Alright, landing.
Ah, se murió. No, mi internet se como que se volvió loca. Why are you marching in one place? Pobrecito, no lo extrañaré. Oh.
Oh, guys, we're gonna have a whole bunch of monsters as eclipsed.
Oh.
Let's go.
Yeah, I forgot to change something here.
Shut
My-
up!
Why? No. Why you don't shut up?
You'll die!
No, everything's gonna be fine. Everything's
Yeah,
fine.
you go. Leap.
Yeah, I will. Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna leap in 3. I'm gonna leap in 2. Oh god. Hold on. My stream kinda died. Oh no.
Stay away, man.
Hold on. Oh no. Something happened to me.
Well, I guess we're not getting a flashlight.
Am I gonna die? Because I'm trying to fix something over here that kind of fucked up at my end. Wait, no, don't me.
Matt, don't go for it, Matt. It's just a flashlight. It's
No
not
wrote
worth
this.
it.
Okay, ya. ¿Ya
Well, at least
se
one of us
arregló?
got inside.
No, mi internet.
Talk.
My internet kind of exploded. Oh no. That's the only thing. Okay, I guess I died. Without doing anything. Yo no hice nada en el juego. Me empecé a pendejear, a arreglar el stream y volamos. Let's go. Let's go. Wario. Let's go. Let's go. De verdad que está cabrón, bro. Bro. Mira, volamos porque yo de pendeja decidí arreglar el stream. Volamos. Bueno. Sin yo hacer nada. Acá está mi cuerpo. Bueno. I didn't know. ¿Qué sabía yo? Yeah, I'm a beautiful dragon. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh no, I died. Yeah, de verdad que morí bien pendeja, bro. Bien pendejation. Miren, ustedes ya vieron que yo estoy jugando videojuegos en stream. Significa que ya Puedo jugar más videojuegos, puñeta. Change my world, my final chance, goodbye. Yeah. Como dicen por acá, oye. Se oye mal. O descansa el animal. Mira, nadie está hablando, qué cojones, a ver. Ok, por ahí va Tomo. Mommy Kid is back. Mommy Kid. Yeah, I'm back finally. Yepa! 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 Sí se dice, pero a mí me da ganas de vomitar. No sé por qué. Bueno, vomitemos juntas entonces. ¿Quiere carreando? Sí soy. En todos los juegos. En todos los juegos, sí. En todos los juegos. Ahora de meterle mods al listo. Oh. ¿Para ahí va? Ninguno está hablando. Ah, ok.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
Wait, cuando yo regrese le voy a decir, lo logré.
Yeah, no,
No,
she,
sigue,
was
sigue,
talk-
sigue.
she kept talking and it just came in. I was like, fuck. I was like, Kide, shut the fuck up. And she's like, you're so mean. And then continued talking. God damn it, Kide.
No, it's fine.
I,
Let's go.
you guys survived because of me.
What do you mean we survived because of you?
Yeah, my death
You
wasn't.
fucking-
My
Let's go,
death
You let the
was.
dog into this fucking
I
ship.
didn't
You
know.
let the
I
dog
didn't
into the ship.
know.
I tried to
Guess-
tell you to stop talking.
I was talking to Shat. I'm so sorry for dismissing your
No,
plea. You were asking for help. Wait, I can't hear anything.
No, you
So-
got it.
Guess what's
Okay.
eclipsed again?
I guess you were asking like to shut for the way I shut the fuck up, and I kept talking to Shat. I am so sorry.
Uh-oh.
Well, that happens when you have ADHD. You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Eclipse again.
Wait, hold on.
We got eclipse again?
Yay!
Oh, shit. Oh, no, you're here.
¿Crees que debería gritar? ¿Crees que debería gritar? Yippee! God, okay, yeah. God dang.
Tomo couldn't hold it in, just fucking died.
Did he tear over? Oh god. Damn.
Tomo couldn't
Mi
hold
mamá
in the
me
laugh
acabó de
after you
escribir
died,
diciendo que me
too.
calle la boca. Oh, what happened? Oh god, yeah, Tomo died.
We both died. No,
Tomo,
we
God
both
damn
died.
it.
And Tomo,
I just went-
Tomo almost killed themselves as well. 'Cause
Oh,
they
God.
fucking started laughing.
God dang it. I was telling Chad, should I scream? Should I scream? And I went, yippee! And suddenly I just died. Eso, Kire, grita, habla mucho. Estate cerca de tus amigos, así. No lo haré. I'm crying. Tomo's crying. That's what Tomo's saying in chat. Ari. Oh god.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
they died too. Oh no, they're.
No, it was just funny, just like
Oh,
hearing
God.
Tomo start cracking up immediately.
Ari, when someone dies, we're losing money. That's what somebody
We
in chat
are.
is saying.
I'm sad. I need money.
We need
I
money.
need money.
No lloré de
Money to buy-
nada. Somebody in chat is like, don't cry. You're welcome. My parents are texting me, please shut the fuck up. You're too loud. I feel so bad. My mom even called
I
me. I did not
I
pick
think
up.
he's dead.
Oh wait, oh god.
Oh, no, he's alive, okay.
Oh god. Can't believe it.
I can't believe it's so.
Oh no, he's going back in. He's going for more.
It's gonna be fine. Mi mamá hace lo
Alright,
mismo.
while he does that, I'm gonna go and get some food.
Pues sabes qué?
Hungry.
Dale, go eat. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your food, Ari. Mi mamá hace lo mismo. Pues sabes qué? Cuando tu mamá te diga eso, le vas a mirar y decir, ¿por qué me pariste, ah? ¿Quieres que me calle? Pero decidiste tenerme. What the fuck. Le dices así. Que le pon cajas de huevo en la pared. Sirve. Ok. Está bien. Eso mismo tengo que hacer. Mi cuarto se va a ver bien fucking raro. Sí, yo debería poner cosas en mi cuarto. Tengo una pregunta. Pregunta y te tengo una respuesta. ¿Por qué el huevo tiene un cuerno? Oh, no es un cuerno. Es sus, ¿cómo se dice? Eyebrows. Sus cejas. Está enojadito. Está Está así sonriendo como de malo. De hacer algo malo. Todo es referencia a los unicornios. Sí, también eso. Yo por eso... ¡Oh! Tomo. Tomo. Ari went to look for some food. Viva mi familia, yes. Que viva tu familia siempre. Siempre. Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, miri, este mes de octubre vamos a ver películas en español de Halloween en mi Discord.
Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm telling them that we're gonna do the Halloween movie thingy. Así que si te quieres unir, dile a Reina y a Hitomi. Te voy a decir a Hitomi, pero puedes decir a Reina. Para que se una. Y veremos películas. I want coffee, Tomo. Ohana significa familia.
What did you fucking die to?
They were laughing too hard and they died. I'm joking. Wait, Tomo, where are you? Oh.
I'm dead. I went outside to grab the stuff, the leftover stuff, and then I died.
I'm boiling an egg and I got some big noodles.
I want boiled eggs. So yummy. No, mi esposa es una zombie. Ah, sí. Es cierto. Es verdad, no podemos enseñarle películas de zombie a tu esposa. Después va a pensar que la queremos matar. Right. So I have a friend that is a zombie. I have another friend that is a alicorn, and they are going out together. Yo quería otra mommy. Volamos.
Oh, that's cute. Oh.
Whatever. Your brother's carrying us, and I'm proud of them.
Let's see if we can make it back to the ship. There's a lot of things outside.
Dude, hearing you eat makes me hungry. I should find something to eat later.
Yeah, go eat. What the fuck?
I ate before stream. I'm just really hungry. Is that since
you probably didn't eat enough before stream.
it's because I feel a lot better in my belly? Because the week before I was not feeling great. Because belly pains and belly aches. And now that I'm fine, my belly's like, yes, consume what your heart desires.
What did you lose weight or something?
Yeah, I did.
Maybe your body is telling
Yeah,
you that
my-
you should probably eat some
Yeah,
fucking food.
my body's like, what the fuck? Don't eat the like whatever you eat every day. Fuck you.
So those fig noons were good, man.
Dude, I would love some ramen right now. Una chubby culona, una alicornio culona, una chichona y quiere culona. No, mucho culo no tengo. Lo que yo tengo es... Ya ni teta tengo, me quita la teta. No tengo nada. I'm telling Chad that I don't have a butt or a bust because I removed it all.
You removed it.
Yeah.
What?
Butt
Like cut and paste?
Yeah. I redrew myself and I don't have a boobie or a butt. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Welcome to stream. I'm playing with Ari and Tomo and their brother, Matt.
Wait, is it just me or is Matt?
Did he glitch out?
He did.
What the fuck?
I
Wait, what
just
the fuck?
Quiero
crashed
cuando
happened?
termine el stream te puedo mostrar tantito en
Oh.
Discord.
Man,
Sí.
all the
He
freaking items are
crashed.
right outside.
Ooh.
They're right in front of the ship,
Tú
but I
también te
can't. I just
extraño.
crashed out.
Ooh.
Well, we cry. No survivors. Oh, F. F en el chat, por
I guess
favor.
Jin back. One sec.
Estoy feliz que estoy de vuelta. Oh, we can talk to the storm now. F.
Well, We don't have any money now, and we
Dile a
can't
Tomo
do
que por
anything
favor
about
decir mío
that.
para mí.
So
Wait, I was the last one alive?
Tomo,
yeah, you were.
Tomo, my chat asked if you can say meow one more time.
Oh, meow, 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 meow.
Read that, Jerm. There you go. Thank you, Tomo.
Meow.
Why are you leader, Tomo?
Oh, no, it's just right. Not much of
When-
Yeah,
it.
you're an
Time for some
intern.
supersonic
They're
speed.
leader.
What
I
a
think
nasa.
I am the boss. Where's my fucking money?
Yeah. Why is this
Kide,
leader?
Kide?
Yeah.
No, Kide, since you didn't make me any money, come here.
Okay.
Go. We're all going. Let's go.
Tell Tomo to say
So was I the last one
But yeah,
alive
así.
in that other one?
Bia.
yeah.
Bia.
Yes, you were the last
Se
one.
murieron, sí, nos morimos todos
Oh my
porque...
God. I was
no sé.
collecting so much loot for
F,
nothing then.
sí,
Holy
F.
shit, I should have just grabbed like 5 items and left.
Feels
I thought
bad.
someone was still in the ship just sitting there.
Brr. Fine, we
Yeah,
got
you can
fine.
join back after this little thing happens.
Oh.
As you have
Oh,
not met
open
the
up.
performance,
I
your
know.
performance has been deemed below standard.
Wait,
What's
press
going
the
on?
buttons
What's
on the
going on?
items as
What's
many
going on?
times as you
I'm
need.
scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. How do I crouch? What? God dang it. Why would they do that to me? I'm fired? Did I meet the profit quota before the deadline? Bruh. Bueno.
At least I didn't get fired.
Oh god. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad you didn't get fired, I guess. Sí, volé.
Alright, wait. Let him rejoin.
Welcome
then,
to your
I might
first
have
day
to,
on the
like,
job.
AFK for a little bit.
This is your very own autopilot ship.
Los
where you will eat and
despidieron
sleep
todo,
for the
todo.
duration of the contract.
Well,
You should be able to join the
Make
same way you
yourself
did
at
last
home.
time.
To complete the
That
onboarding
doesn't give
process,
the join
you will want to check
Yes,
the
I'm
Oh,
instructions.
Kide, can you?
Yeah?
Kide, can you invite?
We trust you will be
Yeah.
a great asset to the
Can you invite
company.
him?
what? No, it doesn't let me. It's grayed out.
Oh, okay. We'll have to leave and come back.
Okay. And 3, 2,
quit.
1. Okay. No sé si me van a invitar. Wait, Ari, I can't hear you. Let me lower. Let me make you. Okay, there you go. I can hear you now, Ari. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi. I'm gonna check on the egg, and then. Yeah. I guess
Okay.
It's charcoal.
post a new one.
Okay.
No, I'm just boiling water first.
Okay. Yeah, boil water first. That's the way to do it. There you go. Se está haciendo un huevito. Ari se está haciendo un huevito y
Oh,
regresa
man.
pronto. Para la actualización, prueba actualizando la página. Oh. Estoy esperando ahora que Ari regrese. My goodness, I would love to eat an egg right now. ¿Cómo están? Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Right, Tomo? Happy Halloween.
Happy meow.
Happy meow. Cuénteme, Vergumi, ¿qué pasó? Tanto tiempo, no hago stream a tanto tiempo, lo siento, disculpen. ¿Cómo está el gatito? Ay, sí, está bien. A ver, ¿cómo está? ¿Está aquí? Sí, ella duerme al lado mío, le di mi... Tengo una silla nueva y le di mi silla vieja y le encanta estar ahí. I'm telling them that I got my old gaming chair, I gave it to Missy, and I'm using a new chair. Me siento mucho mejor. No se entiende, sí.
No.
Estuve un tiempito sin usar la PC, lo siento mucho. Mi PC andaba corriendo muy lento. No estaba corriendo el VTuber, pero me enamoré con el PNG de esta nueva Kira, así que la voy a usar más a menudo porque me gusta el cómo la dibujé, cómo la veo colorida, y así que trabajé mucho en ella, así que la quiero usar. Yo sé que cuando los VTubers se mueven es lo más que llama la atención, pero esto es lo más que me gusta. Yo estoy igual, no puedo mi PC. Ah, okay, bendito. They're saying that their PC is also dying. I'm just telling them about the new CPU.
I'm sorry.
You're good, Tomo. You're good, Tomo. So very cute. Gracias.
I'm sorry.
I think there's a delay because somebody's answering something that I told them like a few minutes ago. Well, it's okay. Si hay un delay, lo siento.
You know, I don't want to be dead weight, so I might end up having to just watch you guys play. 'Cause,
Oh,
like,
don't
I'm
worry.
hungry.
Don't worry. Is Matt gonna join us or he's gonna eat too with you?
Well, you didn't make a you didn't make a lobby yet, so
Oh.
he wouldn't have anything to join. No.
Okay, my bad, my
You
bad.
host,
I
yeah,
thought.
you hosted.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, friends only. My bad. I thought somebody was gonna invite me. We can do 3 more rounds, and then I wanna play like a little like horror Minecraft that Tomo recommended for me, and you guys can
Whoa.
see me play.
Yeah.
It's really creepy, and I
So,
like it.
Tomo, you keep ripping ass over there. Are you good?
No, yeah, I was listening to
Oops.
myself in the
Sorry.
stream. It was funny.
I invited you, Ari. You can ignore them, my bad.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wait, where's your bro?
He's probably appearing offline.
Can you go online for
Matt
a
will
second, Matt?
He'll probably join.
Wait, can I just search for his name? No, I
No,
cannot.
no,
Okay.
he's gonna join on his own.
I'm literally standing right in front of
Also,
you.
Matt, you're muted.
No, I can't. I think I heard him in the game.
No, well, I meant like he's muted in Discord.
Oh. Well, Matt, you know
if-
what to
did
do.
you just hear him in game? Oh, he's
I'm standing right in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello.
that's funny.
But
Welcome to
you
your
guys
first
can
day
mute,
on the
and
job.
I guess I can just.
This is your
Am I the
very own
leader?
autopilot ship
Am I the boss?
where you will
No.
eat and sleep
Wait,
for the
is-
duration of
are you
the
the
day.
Yeah, you're the
boss?
boss. Let's go.
no, wait. I wanna see Matt.
Boss time.
No, it can't
Make
be.
yourself at
I'm
home.
trying to read
To
their
complete the
thingy.
onboarding process,
No, you're
you
the
will want to check
boss.
the instruction manual and sign
Are you
into
the
your ship's
boss?
computer terminal.
You're the
We
leader.
trust you
No.
are
What
a
does it
great
say, my
asset to the
thingy?
company.
It says
asset.
butt cheeks.
That's
Oh,
great,
okay,
great,
cool.
great
I'm
Yeah,
exactly
you're the-
that.
asset to the
You're the underpaid intern. I mean, sorry, no paid.
Yeah. Wait, is Jade here? He said he wanted to play.
Oh, yeah.
Jane!
Done.
Jane! 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 Okay, and he's not here.
Or he
He-
could be
okay.
focusing, maybe Adam or something.
I'll just, I'm gonna invite, invite friends. Is he online? Yeah, he is. There you go. Probably he'll see it.
Sorry.
By the way, somebody in chat said, oh, Tomo, when they heard Kira's PC died. And they put an Akite. Hola,
Wait,
Kira,
what?
bienvenido. Hello, Akira, welcome. Oh, somebody was just like laughing when you laughed at my PC dying. Recomiendo mucho ese anime. Oh, God Eater? Have you seen God Eater, Tomo?
What?
Have you seen God Eater?
I've seen a couple episodes. I haven't finished it.
You're recommending me that anime here in chat. Wait, yeah, man, you do everything. I'm sorry, I'm small.
What?
Yeah, you do everything. You see your thingy says boss. Chequea tus Discord DMs, okay? Checo ahora. No veo nada. No veo nada. Lo checo después de stream. No veo nada.
Oh, I can't actually pull the lever.
Qué bueno verte,
Oh yeah, you have
Kira.
to start at midnight. Yeah. the
Oh, I
first time you
gotta
do
start it?
midnight.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Can't
just the
see.
first
Yeah, I
round.
can't see. Oh, so I just go.
The,
How big-
the lever?
Oh, I
yeah,
knew
right
that.
here.
I was making sure you guys were paying attention.
Oh my god.
There you go.
We're gonna die.
I jump first. Wait, we didn't get nothing. Well,
Oh, okay, we don't have no money. This is the first round.
I knew that. Teehee.
Alright, jump up here.
Wait, we gotta wait for Matt. Matt.
I'm up here.
Wait, Marco. Marco. Oh God, I'm so dumb. Hold on, Marco.
I love how you hear them and then run the opposite direction of them.
Marco. Marco. Wait, am I going the wrong direction? Like
Yeah, you're going
always?
the right way now.
Okay, Marco. Someone has little cycle problems. Yeah, probably. Marco, over.
Let's go. I'm going.
Okay.
Enjoy your food, Ari. Oh, I thought you were munching.
Nah, I'm still making it.
Ari's gonna be my designated voice in my head, okay?
Another one?
Yeah, another one. I
Another
have
one?
3. Esta música es súper entretenida, sí.
I don't know if you need another voice in your head. You can barely concentrate as is.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways. My head sounds like a whole room of people talking over each other.
Meow.
Hold on, let me get comfy. My little thingy slipped. There you go. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, 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 bam. I forgot to turn on my flashlight. Ahora que reveo la PC, meterle todos los modos spooky en Minecraft. Sí, yo encontré un Minecraft spooky dooky. Yo quiero ver. Can I open this? Can be accessed from the terminal. Okay. Okay, practico. Tan, 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 tan. Tan, 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 tan. Oh, shoot. Pum, 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 pum. Okay. Pum, 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 pum. Pam, 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 pam. Tomo que me monto. Meow. Sí, tomo hace eso. Tomo siempre. Tomo.
Meow.
Yeah, meow. Hi, Tomo.
Meow. Hello.
You found anything? What the fuck? What the fuck? Tomo, that's not funny, Tomo. That's not funny, Tomo. That's not funny.
I'm not
That's not
joking. This is
funny.
all new. This is all new.
Oh god. Oh god. Nah. Run.
Oh, where is
Where are we? Really? En serio? Okay. Oh god.
I'm on this way.
Ay, santo. Ay, Dios mío. What's that? What's that? What's that?
That is a gun.
Oh god. Don't look at it. I'm scared. I'm scared. Okay. Casi me caigo de la cama. No se caiga, no se caiga. Don't fall. You might fall. A ver.
Oh, I guess every item is tattered metal sheet. Okay.
Huh. Oh shoot, oh shoot. Me cago en todo, bro. Okay, I want coffee. Oh, oh, oh. Bueno. Volamos en canto, brother. Volamos en cantos. Ahora puedes esperar. Pow, 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 pow. Pow, 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 pow. Parece mi barrio aquí, normal. Así mismo, Así mismo son. Pam, pam. Así te hicieron, kiddies.
I think you already got shot by a turret.
That's exactly what happened. Thank you. Thank you for the puppets. Thank you for the puppets.
God, I'm so fat.
You
I'm
man.
faster.
Oh. Me soon. Let me see what Tomo's doing. Dime. What's going on? Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Oh, they're dropping stuff.
Okay, apparently every item here is a metal sheet, so...
Yeah.
Con puntos
Wanna
del
go
gato
on
N y
Afghanistan.
hace zip, 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 zip. Envíamelo en el Discord y lo pondré. Eso es lo que estaba haciendo esta mañana. Puse todo lo bonito que me gusta. Ay. A ver si lo va a ayudar, vale. Si es un video de YouTube, funciona. Pero... Vamos a ver qué más. Había uno con que pusieron de Pokémon haciendo un
Alright, what do
ruidito.
we have here?
That's que cute.
Another metal
Ruidito.
sheet.
Volando. Ahorita que se habla
Turrets.
solito. ¿Viste? He knows what he's
Is
doing.
that the same? Another metal sheet.
Well, looking for metal sheets. What is Tomo doing? Damn, I will eat some more popcorn right now. More popcorn. More popcorn. Let's go.
No.
Bam.
Wow.
¿Se jodió? ¿Por ahí va? Huh. Damn. Voló. Oh my goodness. Well,
Fucking spider. I just want to go home.
well. Oh.
Oh, he's after me.
Oh god.
Oh, he's after me.
Oh god. Oh
Fuck
god.
that. Fuck that. Nope. Nope. Let's see. Do I go back in?
Oh god.
Oh, fine, fine. Jesus, you can have it.
Me dejó sola. Mira, cuando puedas comandar la sesión de Discord. Ok. Te lo veré ahora.
Well then.
No es el que buscaba. Oh. Memes. Oh, ese mismo. Está bien. Cuando termine el stream me lo pongo inmediatamente para que se pueda usar al otro stream. Huh.
Okay. Fuck
Let's
that.
go.
Ahí va.
There were 2 more metal sheets, but a dog was guarding it. Or not a dog, a spider.
Ah,
So-
Oh,
dog.
okay. Also, did I save you from the turret? I turned it off. I don't know if that like helped you.
Probably did. I don't know. I was
Oh.
running from the spider like a madman.
I get revived now. Well, I'm lazy.
Midnight died. Oh.
Yeah, I did.
She got shot by a turret.
I
Probably
always
the same
come
one you turned
back.
off earlier.
I always come back.
But this time without
Oh.
a flashlight.
You.
I still find
Wow,
it
what I
funny
do?
how she's always the laziest one.
Yeah.
I did
And like
not-
in real life. Yippee.
Oh.
Yippee. Man, I want eggs so bad.
Also,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so I actually made some noodles
Yeah,
and
you
put
said
a
that might do
boiled
like
egg
2
in
more
there.
rounds and then wanna go eat. Oh,
Yum.
hungry.
Oh, you're gonna go eat
Yummy.
Tomo? Okay. Don't worry. I can play some spooky Minecraft while you eat.
Yeah, I'm watching. Or
Yeah, you watch me.
So then would this be considered the last game?
Yeah,
I'm saying one. Let's
basically.
go.
Okay.
Yippee! Wait, why did I bring this manual with me? Eh. Not important right now.
What?
What? Wait for me,
What?
Tomo. Wait for me, Tomo. Hello, Tomo.
Look what I got. Oh. A key.
Thank you.
Alright, let's go.
I don't have anything on me. Only a key. You were doing so good with Ari on our team. Now we're dying.
Wait, never mind.
Because with Ari we had a lot of money.
What do you mean?
Oh,
I was
yeah?
dying.
No, but we had a lot of money.
Money doesn't transfer by accounts.
We had a lot of money because you were alive and helping us. Like a leader? Like a leader would.
Alright, I'll follow you. Let's
Oh
go.
god, okay.
I'll let you experience the game. Oh.
I don't know where I'm going.
Midnight? I must be ready. Midnight? Midnight?
I'm Ari, I died immediately.
You poor soul.
I like
Has someone gone already?
Yeah.
She's really good at
And I felt the
making,
same way you did.
she's really good at making use of her environment, I'll just say that.
He's gonna look at us again.
my eyes itch so hard. Oh god.
Wait.
God dang it, no puede ser que yo morí de nuevo.
I didn't hear any of them enter the building. What the hell's going on?
Oh, poor your brother. They're alone, all alone. Are they gonna make it? He doesn't know. Should we tell the autopilot ship to leave early? I'm joking, of course not. I want to
Nah,
see
he'll
if
make he'll
he'll make
realize.
it. He'll realize, yeah. Let's see. He's gonna notice how lonely he is. And then he's gonna check the thingy.
He's gonna see both of us in the same spot and fall.
Yes, that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
I love the like lack of reaction, just the sigh.
He's like, okay. ¿Qué pasó? Solo Papel ya murió. Sí, ya morí. I died.
Midnight, you left me for one second. I said, lead the way. You started sprinting. I lost you. And then you were dead.
I guess that explains why I never heard them coming to help my fell.
I love this game, especially with you guys. What the fuck?
Oh, it's a funny game. Oh.
Yeah.
Apparently it's all hairbrushes.
Damn.
Alright. Hairbrush.
He finds a body.
Too bad I can't teleport the corpses.
Well,
Another hairbrush.
poop, poop. Poop, poop. Poopity scoopity poop.
Okay, I guess I'll just grab that and leave. Oh, 6
Look,
hairbrushes.
caca.
Yeah. Caca. Ahorita veo este mote. Tu cabeza parece un domplín. Sí, me parece que mi cabeza parece un domplín. Somebody told me my head looks like a dumpling.
No.
Yeah. Yaha. Oh my goodness. He didn't. Get a dance. Get a dance. Everybody's dancing on my chat. Oh god, that Jack Skellington thing. Oh, he didn't.
Oh.
I feel bad. Tomo, you want to try at least one more, or are you too hungry?
Yeah, no, I can do one more round.
One more? Okay. Ah, gracias por la varita aquí.
Yeah, it's all 3 the rounds. That's like one game.
Yeah, this is the last round.
Last round.
Okay.
Thank you for saving us. We're in your debt.
Oh no,
Thank you
there.
for saving us.
Oh yeah, that is the last one. Ooh.
Thank you for saving us. Thank you for saving us. Thank you for saving
I didn't
us.
save you.
Thank you
You
for
were still-
saving us.
you were
Shut the
still at the
fuck
bottom
up.
of the
Thank you
pit.
for saving us.
No.
Parece que está lavando el pollo. Sí, lo bañan con mostaza, sí. No sé por qué, pero lo están bañando con mostaza. Well,
Okay.
Why is it raining? It said there was no weather.
well,
Oh,
they
God.
lied to you. They lied to you.
Go to the bridge, right side.
Oh god!
Oh,
Oh,
it's
god!
thunder.
Oh god! Oh
Oh,
god!
no,
Run!
no,
Run!
They're
Run!
gonna
Run!
make it.
To the stage. Let's go.
I can't run. I can't. Tomo. What's oh no. Kire Sosilian, very
That
sad.
was such a graceful start.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect start.
Midnight. Midnight.
Come over here.
Midnight.
Yeah.
Okay, wait for me.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go.
Mm. Mm. Don't laugh.
Oh.
I'm scared.
Wait, Midnight. Don't touch that.
Why not?
No fucking way.
The voice in her head said I must do it. Wait. Oh, come on.
It's not good. I feel so bad for your brother.
Fuck's
Oh.
sake, okay.
Your peanut brain was like, I must step on this mine, and then that's just what happened.
Oh,
Jesus
shit.
fucking Christ.
Hey, Midnight, if we had the same idea, I ran into the mine too. I was like,
Okay.
Oh, come on.
I hate you. I didn't know. I didn't know. The luck of Kira is unbearable. Yeah. Unbelievable, sorry. Unbelievable. I said
It's
unbearable.
unbearable.
No, I think the Kire strat is if you stay near her, you will die. I think that's just the strat. Like if you want
Yeah.
to die, you just stay near her.
Yeah. What's going on?
What's that? Wait, turn it
Yeah.
around.
I don't know.
Fucking giant.
Your brother. I don't know.
What's that?
I don't know what's
Giant
going on.
spawn.
Oh, a giant.
Please, God, just let me get to the ship.
Oh god, they're behind him.
Oh, the giant sees me. Oh, and there's lightning.
Your brother's so cute. How much city are you? Kita, Kita, yes. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Así mismo.
Well, I guess I'm picking up nothing. Jesus.
Bruh. Bruh. Bruh, for your brother.
Oh, is he gonna
fuck that. Stupid giant.
Oh god.
It's okay, this is enough stuff.
This is really sad. Tomo is the goat. Tomo's
It's
the
not
goat.
even Tomo. Tomo
Oh.
isn't even. If Tomo's dead.
I'm
No,
dead.
that's mad. That's mad. My bad, Chad. That's mad. I was just reading what they were saying. Well, you know, it's really nice that you saved us again. Thank you very much. Well, you know what? Nice to meet you. I'll just see myself out. Bye bye.
Report to the company building now to sell the scrap.
Now we just gotta sell the stuff.
You have
And then we're
0
done.
minutes to meet the profit quota. You can use the terminal to route the autopilot to the company building.
Where are we? What is this? Oh, we're trying to sell. Well,
Yeah, sell everything.
okay. I'll help.
I can't believe it.
It's okay. It's okay. We got this, team. Tomo dead. Tomo in the code of this game. Yeah. Everybody's confusing Tomo with Matt. So cute. Selfies como quedó como.
I didn't see a monster in there, but you guys were both just dead together.
Yeah, we both died together. We share the same brain cell.
You just gave him COVID.
Yeah, I did.
Put it down quickly. Hurry.
Okay.
The company happy.
Okay.
Hurry, please.
No, Tomo, stop it, Tomo, stop it, stop it, Tomo.
Why are you dropping them on the floor?
Tomo's making me nervous. Tomo, you're making me nervous, stop it.
Yes, okay. See, we got money now.
Well, we can sell Matt. We sell Matt. Go back in there, Matt.
You can't
gonna
sell
sell
me
him?
unless you kill me
Oh,
and then put me on the table.
oh, okay. Kill him right now. Grab him.
That works.
Wait, did we get the other? Oh, he still hasn't taken the stuff.
Take the stuff! I'm in there, you give it a hug.
Go on,
Okay.
kitty. Go on.
Huh?
You know,
Come on,
someone
kid.
just
COVID.
whip an ass, man.
We're the ultimate silly
guess-
machine. That's what Chad says.
We're free.
Alright, that was your last one.
No, I feel bad. Thank you. We
Thank
did it
you.
together as
We did
team.
it.
We did it.
Oh,
I
that was
love that we
funny.
did it. Let's go, team. I know
I
that.
have no idea what happened to you.
I know
two in
that Matt.
last
I
one,
know
but
that
it was
Matt
funny.
doesn't do much, but we
It was
appreciate
Midnight's
his
fault.
pressure. What the fuck?
She landed on the landmine. She landed on the landmine.
No,
blew
he
us
was
up.
like,
Oh.
"Don't touch that." I'm like, "Why not?" So we both did.
Yeah, we both walked into it.
Yeah, they were like trying to teach me how not to do it, and they did it for me, and then I followed. Matt
Oh, oh.
disappeared. He hates us.
Wait, you said it was the last game.
No, I know,
Oh, no,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, we can just.
Alright, so I wanted to tell Chad something really quick.
What? En serio, Tomo. Okay. I'm gonna go play some spooky Minecraft. I'll stay in this chat. So, you guys wanna see me play spooky Minecraft?
Yeah, I watch you.
Yeah.
We'll go.
I might have to go because it's getting late.
Don't worry. Alright, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to have fun watching you guys die. It was great.
Sorry.
While eating.
Yeah, we were
That's
her
amazing.
entertainment. Aún no nos vamos. Voy a jugar Minecraft. Yeah, un spooky Minecraft, sí.
Alright. Bye bye.
Bye, Ari.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for being here.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. No connection. Hello. Mira, no jodan. Okay. Hold on. In Minecraft.
Well, I'm gonna go head out, but I'll watch your stream, okay? Meow.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Oh.
Thank you for being here.
Meow.
Bye bye. Is the name of the Minecraft Dread? Can I put that? No. It seems I cannot. So I'm just gonna put Minecraft. Craft. Pero no es Minecraft de chill. Yo no me voy. Yo no me voy. Yo no me voy. Yo no me voy. I'm not leaving. Yo no me voy. Hello, Tomo. Welcome to stream. Welcome to the stream. I wonder if Jade is there. Probably not. Oh well. So, what's on is the Minecraft? Que es bien spooky. It's very spooky. So, we're gonna play that. Give me a minute. No hay música. Es más, vamos a poner música de Halloween. A lo que. Yeah. God dang it, that's loud. I'll always feel like somebody's watching me. Okay, está. I don't know if the... debería irme a dormir, pero espera, que no hemos comenzado. Es esta última y ya me voy. ¿Por qué no veo? ¿Por qué no se ve? Porque soy una pendeja. Ahí está. There it is. No, espérate, qué pendeja. Eso no era, jiji. Ahí está. Hello? Ahí está. There you go. Mira, ahí estoy yo. Hold on. Voy a parar la música. Ahí está. Sí, Kira, insiste. Sí, quédese. Vamos a jugar esto. Great New World. Nos crea un nuevo mundo. ¿Cómo llamamos el mundo? ¿Quién quieren que lo llame? Ay, vamos a llamar algo. ¿Qué lo llamamos? Espérate. ¡Ay, no se escucha! ¡Pendeja! No se escucha. Ahí está. Está bien bonito su skin de Minecraft. Gracias. No me acuerdo cómo lo hizo. Esquizoland. Ok. Esquizoland. Shit. Con S. Esquizoland. There you go. Survival? Yeah. Great World. Warning, these settings are user-friendly features. I don't care. Let's go. Nunca he jugado esto. Ya estamos jugando la noche. Vamos a ver cómo juega esto. Y corre bien, ¿viste? Oh, ay, ala. Hell yeah, let's go. Spoopy. Spoopy Minecraft. Te estoy cagada, bro. Desde ahora lo digo. Estoy cagada. Estoy cagation. In the station. 2D. Y es de noche, así que... Pero no se preocupe porque... Pero, ¿y por qué? Oh. Una vaquita. Oh, vaquita. Hello. Espérate. Ay, sí, no tengo... En este juego no tengo corazoncitos. Creo que debería ser una casita. No me gusta que no puedo ver nada. Ok. Está difícil War Thunder. Nah, War Thunder. Hace tiempo no ni juego War Thunder. Fuera, ¿qué carajo? ¿En serio? No. ¿Así se corta la madera? No way. Oh well. You know what? Whatever. Fine. Fine. ¿En serio? What the fuck? This is not cool. Okay. Es por el modpack. Ay, qué cojones. This is not fun. Do you really want to see me doing this for a whole hour? Well, another hour? It's okay. Oh my god. Well, mira, no me gusta esto. Thank you for feeding the cat. You were hungry. Okay. I guess. I'm glad I'm like in an area where flowers are very prominent. Está raro en Minecraft. Sí, es un Minecraft que da miedito. Spoopy Minecraft. Okay. No me gusta que la cámara se mueve así, bro. Si pulsas Shift evitas tener que todo el árbol. Oh. Ok, a ver, vamos a empezar. No, eso no era. Empecemos, tonto. Me cago en todo, bro. Ahí está. Ahí está. Wait, how do I know? Oh, okay. I was wondering that. What the fuck? I don't like that I cannot see almost anything. Tan, 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 tan. Ah, ya lo tenía. Si puse Shift. Ah, verdad, ya leí eso. Si puse Shift, evitas tener que picar todo el árbol. Yo quiero picarlo todo. Así que sería mejor picarlo todo, ¿no? Pam, 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 pam. No estoy haciéndolo otra vez. ¿Qué es eso? ¿En serio? Bro, ¿qué hacen? Están cagando, bro. Cagaron. Ajá, ajá. Ah, no creo que necesite comida, así que... Ahí está. Esto, para defenderme. ¿Qué más? ¡Qué miedito! Yeah, qué miedito. Se cierra el culito. Hay que estar pendiente. A ver. Ok, ya... Ay, no tomé nada para picar la madera, así que... Pew, 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 pew. Oye, no hable así. Ok. Me prendo. Ah, es verdad, de noche. Cuidado que se te quema la casa. Te prendes el fuego. ¡Ah! Cállese. Está bien. Pero el culito bota caca, así que... Fo. Me la cagué. Eso bota caca. Oh. Oh, almost there. Almost there. Ahí está. Ahí está. Bueno, vamos a tener una casa prontito, bro. Una casa... Oh, mira. Ah, jódete. Oh. Oh my goodness. Eso es pintura. That is paint. You saw nothing. Tú no viste nada. Right? No viste nada, ¿verdad? What the fuck? Jódete. Me miro raro, bro. Me miro raro. Me miro raro. Es lo que se tarda más para cortar madera. Sí, se tarda más para cortar madera. Uy, gato, qué rico. Ketchup, sí, eso ketchup. Eso ketchup. I didn't do nothing. Yeah, se tarda mucho. Mira ahí, tan. Ay, olvídate, que se joda, que se tarde mucho. Tengo todo el día. Tengo todo el día, banda. ¿Ya? ¿Ya gané? Los pollos tienen la culpa. Sí. Pues, no, qué mala que no me sé esa voz. Qué mala soy, no sé de cultura, lo siento. Yo vivo debajo de una piedrita. Bueno, que tú me ves, ¿ah? Bitch. Búscalo. Pues lo buscaré. Después de la trampa. A ver. Espérate, ¿dónde está? Oh, no hay mapa, no hay nada, así que no sé dónde estoy. Creo que perdí lo mío. Ya, se está haciendo de noche ya. Ok, se está haciendo de noche. Debería ser una casita ya. Vamos a hacer una casita. ¿Casita? Vamos a hacer una casita. Mira, aquí vamos a hacer una chiquita. Eso no era. Neta. Ay, bendito sea Dios. Pam, 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 pam. Ay, Dios mío. Pam, 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 pam. Pam, pam, pam. Pam, 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 pam. Ah, cojones. Pim, pim. Pim, pim. Pim, pim. Pam, pam. Ahí está. Sí. ¿Quieres todo una pro de Minecraft? Gracias. Gracias, gracias. Yo he jugado Minecraft por 3 días. De broma. Pero sí, le sé un poquito, un poquito. Yo en Minecraft. Así que si te primer día. Oh no, hermano. Es un hoyo debajo de la tierra. ¿Eso sabes qué? Eso yo hacía antes. Ahora no. Porque yo soy una pro. Pues que yo le sé. Hay un momento de mi vida que yo no le he sabido al Minecraft. Ahora. Yo quiero. Ahorita. Eso. Ya perdí el otro. Así que volamos. Ok. Hay que hacer una puertita. Mira, una puertita bonita. Y punky. Ah, qué cojones. Eso no estaba bien calculado. Ahí está. ¡Ah! Pero qué cojones. Yo le sé. Mira. No se asusten, no se preocupen. Yo sí le sé. Mira, vamos a arreglar ese hoyito en el piso. Bitches, ¿viste? Tan, 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 tan. Arreglar otra vez el hoyito en el piso. Llenar otra vez el hoyito en el piso. Ok, aún sigue de día, así que... Ah, verdad. Vena, muévete, mema, váyate. Ay, no puedo poner todo de cantazo. What the fuck. Tiene que ser poco a poco. Ah, qué caca. Qué caca. Ok. Pam, 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 pam. Pam, 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 pam. Ahí está. Minecraft planificando como el aldea que acabo de encontrar. Damn. ¿Cómo se lee eso? Yo no sé nada. What the fuck? Eso me asustó, bro. Me asusté. I like how you say their name, Tomo. Like that. Wait. I should not lose my house. Ok. Mi casa está aquí. Ah, pues hago un hoyo en el piso. Hago un hoyo en el piso. Es ok. Vamos a hacer un hoyito en el piso, mi gente. Ajá. Eso es lo que yo necesito piedra, punto. Yo no... Miren, no se asusten. Yo toco la caca literal. Cállese. Yo no me asusté. No jodan. No jodan. Que este juego asusta. ¿Ya es de noche? Yo me tengo que ir para el carajo. Se jodió todo. Se joda. Estoy caga. No veo nada. Estoy caga. ¡Oh! No veo. No me gusta. Ayuda. Mira, no veo nada, no veo nada. Miren. Ok. Miren, por favor, háblenme, por favor, estoy cagada. Ok. Háblenme, please. Estoy cagada. Se me hizo caca. Apunta la caca. Van a traer unos boxes repuestos. Ya te digan. Quiero que sea de día. Quiero que sea de día. I don't know what that means. Yo tampoco. Hay que pensar en unicornios. Hey, Charlie. Hey, Charlie. Ah, miren. No me gusta que tengo que estar aquí. Oh. Ay. No sé. Bueno. Tan, 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 tan. Tan, 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 tan. Tan, 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 tan. Tan, 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 tan. ¿Yeah? Dime. No veo puñeta. No veo nada. No veo nada aún. Ay, ay, no me gusta, no me gusta. Yo me quiero ir. No creo que se escucha precisamente. Espérate. No creo que que se escuche sea precisamente amable. Ok. ¿Sabes qué? Olvídate. Tan, 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 tan. Can I set home? Set home? No. No puedo hacer nada. Oh. Bueno. Ok. Ya son tan amarillos que cool. Bueno, preparada estoy. Con mi espada. Hay que ser hombres, mujeres con valor, sí. Ok. Pues nada. Todo bien, todo normal. Let's go. ¿Dónde está mi casa? No joda. I forgot my house. Where's my house? Hello. Where's my fucking house? What the fuck? Perdí mi casa, chicos. What the fuck? Oh. Ok, aquí está mi casa. Mira, no veo, no sé qué hacer. Yo debería hacer algo. Mire que sea de día, por favor. Diosito, por favor, si usted me deja sobrevivir esta noche, iré más a la iglesia, gracias, man. Yo creo que sea de día. No sé, bueno, voy a seguir caminando, I guess. Pero... Oh, oh, oh. Mi casa. Mira, ay, 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 ay. Mi casa, mi casa, mi casa, mi casa. Ah, ah, ah. Ya, ya, ya. Mi casa, mi casita. ¿Dónde era? Oh, bendito sea Dios, me lastimé. Oh, 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 Dios. Oh, 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 Dios. Oh, mi casa. Ay, ay, ya. ¿Qué haría esto? ¿Se va a romper? Ah, maldita sea, no se me olvidó. I have forgotten. Perdón, me estoy cagando del miedo. Hold on. What the fuck? Hello. Mi casa. Yo hice una casa. What the fuck? My house. Miren, no me gusta esto, bro. Hello. Bueno. Hola, pollito. Aquí hay fueguito. Voy a matar a tus hijitos. Meow, meow. Se hizo caga. Ve, mira, se murió, se mató. Dime. Yeah, rico. Yeah. Dime, dime. Coño. Bueno, Ya se fue la luz ahí. A buscar a mi casa. Tiene que estar aquí. Tiene que ser Artoncha. Sí, eso mismo estaba buscando yo. No pude hacer nada. Sí, es verdad. ¿Sabes qué? Vamos a cortar otra vez el puto palo este. Ay, Dios mío. Cuando tienes miedo, Eructo quiere... Sí, todo el tiempo. Miren, prometo que media horita más y le termino. Digo, si ustedes quieren. Ya. Dios mío. Cuando me hace eso digo, a la vega. Bueno, yo no erupto, es que tengo... Últimamente me está dando como dolorcito en la pancita. Me salen. Pero normalmente digo, diablo, mano, te caga. Y ya. Oh my god, gracias. Thank you for all the things. ¡Ah! ¿Está saliendo el sol? Creo que el sol está saliendo. Mira, sí, está saliendo el sol. Ay, qué huevo. Ok, vamos a comenzar de cero porque perdí mi casa. ¿Deberías ver un doctor? Sí. Ya yo he ido. Y me están haciendo estudios en el estomaquito. A ver qué carajo me está pasando en el estómago. ¿Qué es eso allá abajo? Oh, no, 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 no. Yo quiero encontrar mi casa, bro. Eso es un... ¿No? Espérate. Be smart. Hay que sobrevivir en este momento. Yo no puedo estar buscando mi casa así como se me pegue la gana. What the fuck? Espero que no sea nada grave. Espero tampoco. Espero que no, no creo. A lo mejor me lele porque comí... No sé. Oh. Ay, llegó. Llegó, llegó. Llegó la Navidad. Llegó, llegó, llegó la Navidad. Así que se mueve. Así que se mueve. Así que se mueve la Navidad. Digo que saques una de antorchas del creativo. Yo no sé hacer eso. Pero, ay, ya llegó el sol. Llegó la mañana. Y se esconde el sol. Porque fuck you. ¡Ah! Mira, 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 mira. Esto lo puse yo ahora. Ay, Dios. Tan, tan, tan. Llegó el sol. Ahora a buscar mi casa. Merry Christmas, sí. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Ve, ¿esa es mi casa? No. ¿Y está por ahí está mi casa? Primera noche sí, sin morir, de verdad que sí. Yo soy una pro. ¿Viste? ¿Por qué la voy a poder ver la luna? Wow, that's really fucking trippy. It's really fucking weird. Anyways. Llegó, llegó. Llegó la Navidad. Llegó. Oh, I'm hungry. I didn't know I have to eat. Mira, muérete, muérete, avanza. Dame comida, dame comida, dame comida. Avanza, avanza, avanza. Dame, 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 dame. Avanza y muérete, muérete. Gracias. ¿Lo cogí? Sí, ahí está. Ahí está. Miren, voy a morir de hambre, bro. Voy a morir de hambre, brother. Broski, no sabía que tenía que fucking comer. Vera, dame, 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 dame lo tuyo, dame lo tuyo. Avanza, avanza, avanza. Dame acá. ¿Dónde tú estás? What the fuck? No te escapas de mí, puto. What the fuck? Thank you, thank you. Para sobrevivir hay que matar. Mi casa, brother. Hi, Zach, how are you? I'm playing Spoopy Minecraft. Welcome to stream. Why did it break? That's weird. Es por su color de lana, ¿no? ¡Oh! No. Era porque me vio feo. Me estaba mirando mal. Minecraft is indeed spoopy, yeah. I'm playing spoopy Minecraft. Well, I'm looking for my house. Because I lost it. Pretty flowers, though. Yeah, they're pretty flowers. Am I dying? I am indeed dying. I'm dying. Oh, God. Okay, okay. Let's stop right here. I'm gonna make a new base now, I guess. Because we suck booty. Not really. We don't do that here. Sorry. That sounded really weird. I apologize. Llegó, llegó. Llegó la Navidad. Llegó, llegó. Llegó la Navidad. Dingy 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 dingy. Dingy 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 dong. Apúrate mi burrito que ya vamos a ver a Jesús. Toki 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 toki. Toki 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 ta. Apúrate mi burrito. It sucks, yeah, it sucks. Apúrate mi burrito, ya vamos a ver a Jesús. Con mi burrito sabanero el camino. Me voy a morir en el juego, puñeta. Burrito sabanero. Ok, no, pero... No sé, tú no le sabes nada. Tú nunca le sabes nada. Con mi burrito sabanero el camino de Belén. Si me ven, el camino... Sí, yo tampoco sé. Si me ven, mi camino de Belén. Okay, let's make, aquí está. Wow. Wait, is this it or this? Can I cook? Oh, hell yeah, bro. Okay, vamos a hacer eso primero porque me estoy fucking muriendo. Lo que pasa es lo que no se atora. Okay, wait. Ñam, 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 ñam. Ñam, ñam, ñam. Ya, comimos, brother. Me comí la que no estaba cocida, volamos, perdí el juego. ¿Sabes qué? No pasa nada. Wait. We can do just more than just one. Esa frase es muy interpretativa. Pues, ¿qué vas a hacer para hacerte una cama? Ok. Está bien. Vamos a hacerlo. Si me ven, voy camino de Belén. Toki, 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 toki. Mira, si yo me pierdo es culpa tuya, Toxic. Yo digo que. Tú dijiste que. Las antorchas, sí, sí, sí. Están haciéndose. Ok, recuérdenme que tengo que regresar en una línea recta. Por favor y gracias. A ver. What the fuck? Ovejita. Ah, no eres una abeja, pero me sirve. ¡Ah! Puta. Ok. ¡Ay! ¡Ay! ¡Ah! Ok. ¿Está bien? ¿Es ok? ¿Es ok? Wait. ¿En serio? ¡Ah! ¿Me puedo escuchar el doble? Ok. Bueno. ¿Qué cojones? Ay, Dios mío. Es ok, es ok. Me cago en ti y sigo cayendo. Hold on. Es... Oh, God. Oh, God. Eso significado significa un significado bien significativo. Significativo. God dang it, I keep falling. Cuando hablas W. Wisin y Yandel. Wisin y Yandel. ¡Wow! ¡Wow! Mucho eco. Wisin y Yandel. Wisin y Yandel. Con punta la caca. Grey wool. Wait, where did I got this? Ah, ya me acuerdo. ¿Eso no sería ahí un eco en la cueva? Sí, es un eco en la cueva. Oh, God. No, me puedo escuchar yo misma. Me escucho a mí misma. That's so fucking creepy. That's so weird. I don't know how. Mira, pero yo lo voy a lograr. Avanza. Ahí va. Bueno, yo no sé dónde estaba mi casa. ¿Sabes qué? Perdí mi casa de nuevo. God dang it. Qué porquería. ¿Ustedes están aquí para ver esto? ¿Qué cojones, bro? Espérate. ¿Dónde era mi casa? Yo me acuerdo que... Odio todo. Se perdió. No hay mapa. No hay mapa. No hay mapa. Ven. Ya no. ¿No hay mapa? Bueno, Toxic, perdí mi casa. ¿Sabes qué? Te voy a matar. Por mirarme mal. Ah, bro. ¡Oh! ¡Mi casita anterior! Oh, God damn it. Ok. Mi casita anterior. Estoy tan feliz. Bueno, perdí la madera en la otra casita. God dang it. Miren. Miren. Así se juega, ¿ves? Así se juega. No tengo lo demás, así que... A ver, profesionales. Ok. No sé leer nada. Wow. Las coordenadas. ¿Cuáles son las coordenadas? Ven. ¿Cuáles son? Yo no le sé. Te mentí. No le sé nada. Yo no le sé nada. Mentí. ¿Qué cojones? Me cago en todo. Me estoy mareando. God damn. Ah, tengo madera. Qué bueno tener madera. Okay, so now we're gonna do the following. Put this here, and we're gonna start burning wood. And then Ay, así no era. ¿Qué cojones? Mira, si ven una oveja, me... Pues... Puta. Ay. Ok. Ok, tenemos este y tenemos este. En serio. ¿Cómo se hace una cama? ¿Cómo se hace una cama? Ah, volamos, no sé. Espérate, ¿verdad? Las coordenadas. ¿Dónde están? Espérate, si algo se mueve. Oh, ya lo vi. Facing east, facing west. Ok, south. Facing south towards positive C. Ok, facing south. And 1.1, 114 something. Oh, ok. Mira, ¿alguien le puede hacer el screenshot a las coordenadas, por favor? Y gracias. Es 700. Ok, son los 170. 170, ok. 170. Sí, 170. 170. 170. Yo no veo puñeta, yo no veo nada. ¿Qué está pasando? Se hizo de noche, ay, a la verga. Ay, oh God, no veo nada, no veo nada. ¿Cómo entro a mi casa? No veo. Ay, God dang it. No veo nada, puñeta. No veo. ¿Cómo entro a mi casa? Ay, Dios mío. Ay, ya entré. Ya, bueno, volamos. Voy. Ay, no cociné nada. Tengo esto. Ay, qué bueno. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? No. No me gusta eso, bro. Mira. Pan con queso. Ah, diablo, Toxic. De verdad que caminé a esa. Caminé a esa, bro. Mira, no me gusta. Bueno. Creo que deberíamos ver las cosas acá adentro. No me gusta aquí afuera. And okay. Give me all of that shit. Give me that. Give me that. Give me. Corre, corre, corre. Give me. Dame eso, dame eso, dame todo, dame todo. Nos vamos adentro. Ok. Ay, Dios mío, tengo miedo que algo venga ahí y abre la puerta or something. Ay, Dios mío. Okay. There's my chest. There's my furnace. Now, we put them all together. Puñeta, y abro la puerta. Okay, there you go. All of this and that. And all of this and all of that. That belongs with pam, 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 pam. Me arriesgo y saco voy a sacar madera de afuera, mira de aquí. Oh. Avanza. 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 Avanza, 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 avanza. Avanza, 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 avanza. Ah. Ah. Oh God. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Métete, métete, puñeta, métete. Ay, Dios mío. Ok. Oh. Ok, ahora hacemos esto. Oh. Ok. Bueno. Ok. Oh God. Avanza este. Avanza. Avanza, no tengo todo el día. No tengo todo el día. No tengo todo el día. Mira, ya. Y ya creo que podemos salir por ahí. No me atrevo a salir. ¿Salgo? Bueno. Estoy cagadation. Estoy cagadation. Ah, corre. Thank you, Zach, thank you so much for the subscription. Oh my God, 6 months straight. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Appreciate it. So happy that you've been like 16 months. God dang. Kibonk? Kibonk. Okay. So there's a cow. Hi. Dinner. Dinner. Ja. Ah. Oh, oh, oh. No me gustó eso, bro. What the fuck? Oh, God dang it. What was the thingy? Facing south? Facing south. Oh, se quedó todo verde. Ah, ah, ay, puñeta. Ay, corre, 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 corre. 6, sa, 80. Oh, God. Oh, goodness. Oh, God, I don't like this. Wait, where am I going again? Okay. Oh, goodness. Oh, God. Oh, God, tírate esta bolita. Oh, God. Estoy buscando dónde estaba. Oh, God, God. Okay. No me asusten. Me asustaron. Jack, you scared me. New reward, Spoopy. Yes, a new reward. I hope you like the new reward. I got them all together today, and I thought it was hilarious. God dang it. What was that, bro? That was not cool. That was inhuman.
Whoa, that lava looks really, really hot. California girls, we're unforgettable.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Sonic knows how to sing. They can go fast. They also sing.
California girls we're unforgettable. Lazy Duke's bikinis on top. Sun kiss is so hot.
Yeah, ahí está mi casa. Unforgettable. Yeah. Oh, there's my stuff. There's my stuff. Well, me encontró el tren ese de baile de esa canción. Yeah. Me encanta. De ahí más. We have more redeems. We have the Sonic one. And the Sonic one is my favorite. I saw it and I started bursting out laughing. I was like, I need that for my stream. I really do need it for my stream. Ay, Dios mío, esto es todo lo que hay. God dang it. I hope you guys like that jump scare. No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're okay. I did it on purpose. I did it for that exact same reason. That was loud? Oh, God. I'm sorry. I'll lower it a little bit. There you go. You can try again, and it will not be that loud anymore. Thank you for the pen. It's kind of off. Hold on. I'm gonna move myself a little bit. Thank you for pants. Thank you. I appreciate it. They're very nice. Okay. Let's do... So I have that. We are trying to find... No, yo voy a estar bien, no se preocupe. I'm gonna be fine. I won't die just because of a reward. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is we're gonna look for sheep. Vamos a buscar por ovejas. Y ya creo que se está haciendo día, así que we're safe. Gallina. Te voy a matar. Wait a second. Oh, little bee. Oh, there's the ones that are making a cross. I'm joking. What's that? Die. Yeah, I like those redeems. I thought it was silly. I made that one myself. Poco me caigo, almost fell. I like the Sonic one. Dude, the Sonic one is my favorite.
It must get pretty lonely here.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you. I like the kulikitaka one. Okay, let's make some wood. Now that I have wool here. Can I do it with only 2 wools? Can I just do this? I need one more. Does it need to be the same color? It seems like it needs
like
to be
trash.
this color. Hell yeah. Sonic Core. Let's go. Okay, we're gonna look for more sheep, especially white sheep. Because I have 3. No, I have 2 wolves already. So, another sheep.
Time
I don't
for
know.
some supersonic speed.
Oh my god, it's raining outside. I hope la luz no se vaya. I hope my power doesn't go out. It always happens when it rains.
早上好，张国。现在我有
Been
冰
chilling. Aw, it cuts the end. Dude, if we don't find in 10 minutes that sheep, I'm gonna be sad. Whoa. Oh. Okay. Hello? Hello? Sheepy sheep. I have a lot of food and I have some food at home. Maybe made for me. I remember I left the other furnace in the other area. Hola, Yeta. Buenas. ¿Cómo estás? Andamos bien. ¿Ñ? Sí, ¿ñ? Question mark. Spanish, English, English, Spanish. Estamos buscando una oveja para matarla. No traje comida, coño. I'm not leaving yet, but if you're leaving, good night, Zach. Solo saber italiano. Yo no sé italiano. Andamos mods poopy, sí, estamos mods poopy. Tanto tiempo. Did I die again? I don't remember dying, not gonna lie. Un poquito. ¡Ay! Hola, Warman. Happy Halloween. Está buscando una oveja, Warman, porque... Otra vez. Oh. Hola, bienvenido. Sonó tan alto. ¿Por qué no sonó aquí? What the fuck? Ay, tengo que... Oiga, ¿qué pack de texture usa? Oye, ¿verdad? Buena
What a
pregunta.
peaceful place. Yo, have you guys been good? Just remember, meet me at the wooden gated pocket. I can laugh.
A ver, lo dice aquí. Texture, entity texture feature. No, that cannot be. Tengo que verificarte bien porque qué asco el Sonic. ¿Cómo se atreve? Yo crecí con eso. ¿Cómo está, Warman? ¿Por qué quieres para mi server? Oh, sí, todos los pasos. La quireneta, así suena. Miren, pues sí, yo te lo paso. Porque no le sé. Soy muy chiquita. Sí, recuerden, 170. O sea, mi server no, sino para Minecraft. Sí. Yo te envío donde lo conseguí y yo creo que ahí está la lista completa de mods. ¿Eres no eres chiquita? Sí, yo soy chiquita. Soy muy pequeñita. Miren, no encuentro... ¡Oh, my God, Lucio! ¡Qué la que hay! ¡Hola! Bienvenido a mi stream. Oye, ¿y el Lucio mañanero? Estamos en Lucio de noche. ¡Hola, Animeito! Bienvenido. Brr. Tu Batusan. El mundo te llega hasta Navidades. ¡Ay! Bye, Warman. Te quiero, Warman. A ver. ¿Dónde está la...? Hay una puta vaca. Ay, Dios mío. Ay, Dios mío. ¡Ah! ¿Pero dónde está la oveja? ¡Ah! Come on, Nintendo. What did Nintendo do? Oh, God. Oh, God. ¿Qué están haciendo en el stream? Ay, Dios. Wait. Ignoren eso. Eso no es. Eso es solamente ketchup. A ver. Frente Aracer. Algo así. Mira, ay, my God. Missy, hola. Oh, God, ahora me voy a distraer. Hola, Missy. ¿Quiere estar barriendo sin escoba? ¿Cómo era? ¿Cómo era? No, Missy, no, te vas a cortar. No haga eso. Usted se levanta y me arruina la vida aquí en el stream. Ahí está. Ya no joda más. ¿Cómo era? ¿Cómo era? ¿Cómo era? ¿Cómo era? Era el dueño de los 39 géneros, marido, hombre y mujer, algo así. 39 géneros. Somos el líder de género. ¡Oh! Ay, mírala aquí, puta. Te estaba buscando, jodida huevada. Oh, God. Toma, toma, toma. Somos el líder de género femenino masculino 39 tipos de gays. I love it. 39 tipos de gays. Barriendo sin escoba. Ahí había una vez así, ya la maté. Ve, ya perdí otra vez. Y se me está arruinando el cuarto. Yo jugué con ella. Que ya está creciendo, tiene tanta energía, bro. Ay. De hecho, ayer dimos clases de Zelda y te me faltaste. Yo no estaba aquí. Esa salvada de mi casi funa. Sí, bro, what the fuck? De Andre, bro. De verdad que te... Dude. Nah. No, you did good. You did good. Pero, ok, ya, sí. Hasta ahí, quedado. Pero mira, yo no pude estar ayer porque yo no estaba aquí ayer. Yo estaba afuera, en casa. Bro. Yo desaparecía. Mira, es Halloween. Excuses. Well, excuse me, princess. Perdóname, Wolman, no. Ay. Sí, estoy bien. Es que brinqué. Estoy sudada. Oh, God. Bueno. Perdí todo lo mío. No me acuerdo nada de memoria. God. God dang it. No me acuerdo dónde me morí. I don't know where last time I died. Oh, God dang it. God dang it. Listo, ahora aprende Helldivers. No. Ahorita. Oye, espérate. Esa está buena. Debería probar si corre Helldivers a lo que hago stream. Mi sí no. Tienes razón, Warman. Pero no podré jugar, solo tengo que verificar si funciona. Solo se quiera quedar yo probando a ver cómo las cosas corren en stream. Pues. No, ya cambié el CPU. ¿Genio o villano? Bueno, si Lucio se mete, me meto yo entonces. A ver cómo corre, ¿eh? Si no, pues no. Si no, lo corre ya, ¿eh? Miren, no sé dónde morir. Missy, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó, mi niñita? ¿Qué usted quiere? Acá un ratito. ¿Quiero un juguete? No tengo. Tengo que dártelo para todo el stream. Yo tenía un juguete aquí, pero ya los toma y los esconde. Te andaba esperando de... No sé qué dices. Ok, pues bye. Miren, creo que perdí lo mío. Mira, saben que ya yo morí. Save and quit. Vamos a ver cómo corre Helldiver. Esto es de prueba, ¿ok, gente? Voy a hacer algo de prueba. Voy a seguir jugando esto. Esto está... Deseo que hubiera una historia, ¿verdad? Una historia. Which is weird. Que no. Espérate, yo tengo Helldivers. Porque yo me acuerdo que tuve que borrar algunas cosas. Helldiver. Yo no tengo Helldivers. Ay, no tengo Helldivers. Ay. Pero tendré que bajar hoy mismo. Ay, perdón. Ok. Me mintió. Lo tengo que bajar. No tenía espacio. No tenía espacio, lo siento. Espérate. Espérate. Ahora que estamos aquí, yo puedo platicar. God dang it. Bueno, quiero mirar a mimir. Mañana me toca chambear temprano. Dale, vaya. No se preocupe. Oh, sorry. Missy, ¿qué pasa? Cuídese. Ya jugué con usted. Cuídese, Toxic. Nos vemos. Buenas noches. Ok. Esa canción es tan bien fucking aburrida. No. Esa, vaya. ¿Por qué Vega 6 tiene subtítulos ahora? ¿Tiene subtítulos? What the fuck? Sí tiene. Ay, ni me di cuenta. What the fuck. ¿Qué sabía yo? Yo tenía los subtítulos. ¿Missy? ¿Qué pasa? Da un segundo. Vale, juegue ahí, no sé. No sé qué usted quiere. Si puedo mañana me mando un mensaje en DC. Ahorita no quiero molestarte. Dale, vaya, no se preocupe, me lo envía mañana. No sé por qué Twitch tiene subtítulos. I have no clue. Yo tenía los míos y se me olvidó ponerlos hoy. Jiji. Vete ya. Ay. ¿Pero por qué? Qué grosero. No, yo me quería quedar. Yo me quedo un chipito más. What the fuck? Pues sí. Ah, ok. Ya yo voy a decir, bruh. Vete ya, ok. Y apagó el stream. ¡Pum! Chacalaca. Ok. Pues si tú también. No. Si yo me voy, te tienes que ir tú, nomás. Porque chambeo. Por eso me retiro. Dale, no se preocupen. Te vaya. Tranquilito. Ligerito. Miren. Si se enteraron, tengo un evento de Halloween en Discord. Iba a hacerlo en VRChat, pero no hay muchos que tengan el VRChat y lo entiendo, así que lo vamos a hacer en el Discord. Pero lo voy a transmitir desde el VRChat. Sí que lo encuentro en español. Quiero hacer uno en un movie night en español y otro en inglés. Y así vemos películas. Preparan popcorn. Eso es para Walmart. Ah, ok. Está bien. Está siendo pobre porque sí es cierto, sí somos pobres. Más ahora que la suscripción está subiendo de money. Ay, me enteré de eso. Ah, y miren, si uno de aquí tiene gato negro, no lo deje salir, ni gato blanco. Van a hacer daño, ni lo pongan en adopción de octubre a noviembre, me enteré. Bien spooky. Adiós, Toxi, cuídate. Pues sí. Pues esta semana. Adiós. Ay, no suena, no lo escuché. Luego lo puedo escuchar yo. Qué raro. Ah, pero el chamuco, tipo del furo, sí, algo así. Que los matan también, lo usan para rituales raros. Sí, sonó. Ah, ok, pero no lo escuché yo, qué caga. Ah, ok. Qué bueno. A mí, mi Toxic, viste que después llega tarde a la chamba, Toxic. No se preocupe por mí. Dale, vaya. Así son los furros bien satánicos como de... Ya vete, coño, mire. ¿Qué caray dice? Miren, pues sí. Oye, igualmente apunta a lo de Halloween, la película de Halloween. Lo vamos a hacer un fin de semana. Porque así todo el mundo tiene libre. Y también Lucio, te he invitado. Tengo que bajar de nuevo el 1. Hay muchos juegos que yo tuve que borrar porque no tenía espacio. Y ahora la PC corre mejor, corre más rápido. Tengo un CPU nuevo, corre mejor. Pero si yo soy al Halloween, que tenemos un evento de ver películas en Discord. Y eso es un fin de semana. Lo voy a hacer tempranito en la noche para así que lo que tengan chamba mañana para que puedan solamente ver una película. Si no, ¿qué pelis? Vamos a ver, déjame ver, que me dieron una listita de pelis. Le digo ahora. Art. No, es eventos. So, vamos a ver Nightmare Before Christmas. Missy, don't do that. Nightmare Before Christmas es like ¿cómo se dice? La noche antes de Navidad, algo así. I don't know how to say it. Fenómeno Siniestro y de Halloween la saga. Esas son las únicas tres que tenemos. Yo también quiero añadir en esa lista Coraline. Amo esa película, bro. Ay, Coraline. Best movie ever. Vale. Sí. Sí. ¿Y cuándo? Va a ser un fin de semana. No sé exactamente que... O sea, el 31 nos cae fin de semana. Paso siempre ese día del mes que toca trabajar. Oh, ok. Está bien. Sí, únase al Discord. Y ahí puede ver los eventos y todo eso. Está bajo Events. Y vamos a ir solamente a pasar un buen rato. Ver una peliculita y al final comentar. Si hay que comentar y seguimos con la otra. Sí. Va a ser una noche bonita. Todo el mundo invitado. Debería ser un PNG de yo vestida de Halloween. O deberíamos, antes de irme, vamos a decorar de Halloween. Voy a buscar decoraciones. O pumpkins. Missy, no me tumbes el monitor, que te tumbo yo a ti. Arranque para allá, no me esté tocando el monitor. Uy. Y luego hay charla de mitos de TLOZ, ¿verdad? Oh, no sé qué es eso, pero si es interesante, me meto, escucho. Hay muchas cosas que no he podido planear porque entre nos he estado sufriendo, em, ¿cómo se dice? No sufriendo, he estado, no diría problemas mentales, pero he estado en bajas. Y por eso no mucho stream, más que la PC se había muerto. Pero olvídate de eso. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es bajas? Na. Un día a la vez, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo? Wow, Kire, no me esperaba nada. No esperaba nada. Oh, wait, Legend of Zelda. Se te viene un embarazo. No. Entendí abrazo y yo te lo acepto. Ahora lo leí de nuevo. No, de Zelda. If it's Zelda, wait. Twilight. Zelda. Yeah, with Twilight. ¡Oh! Cabrón, me diste una idea. Probably I should play that game. Sí, quiero ser el padrino. Ok. A ver qué dice Bolex. Yo soy el tío del Kirencito. Nah, yo no tengo bebé. A ver. Imagínate. Un pequeño maní. Kirencito Michelle. Diablo, le pusieron nombres rápido. Me van a cobrar por todo a cada cumpleaños, sí. Sí, él va a pagar todo. Él va a pagar el lugar, va a pagar el pastel, va a pagar todito. Yo lo sé. Va a salir de su... ¿Quién son Daniela, Naruto, Jill, Bolaños? Voy a darle copy paste a eso. Missy no. No. A ver, vamos a buscar pumpkin free PNG. Vamos a decorar de Halloween, gente. Chaca, 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 chaca. Chaca, 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 chaca. Cha, ña, 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 ña. Okay. Oh no, I want something better. Estoy buscando. Quiero un pumpkin. Este mismo, Save As. Save As Image. Pasados de verga, sí. El nombre es más otro asqueroso que me he imaginado. Normal. Así mismo. Estoy guardando algo, hold on, perdón si no estoy leyendo. Cara de papa. Cara de papa. Ni cara de papa. ¿Qué hace la gata? Oh my god, la gata está haciendo algo loco, se va a caer. Está aburrida. Jugaré con ella pronto. Al parecer tiene mucha energía en su cuerpito, bendito. A ver, ¿dónde está el file? God dang it, tanta mierda que tengo en esta estúpida computadora. Chavando cupu. Ok, ¿qué me perdí? Nunca le jirafa le hubiera quedado mejor. Bruh. No me pasado y asqueroso que me imagino. Lo leí bien. Acá en estos días, ¿qué dice? No vi. Ah, ya se va Lucio. Adiós, Lucio. Cuídate. Yo no sé si sé que se va Lucio, pero adiós. Ok, voy a decorar, pero Lucio se va cuando estoy decorando. No, no me voy a... Voy a poner solamente una decoración. Ay, ¿dónde está? Ay, ya la perdí. Ah, never mind, ya la encontré. Míralo aquí, mi decoración de Halloween. Like así. Así. O así. ¿Dónde lo pongo? ¿Dónde lo pongo? Tremendo remix, gracias. ¿Dónde se habrá metido mi gata? Desapareció, pero escucho ruido. Pinche color Sonic es mi novio, primero que todo. Mira, aquí así. Se ve bonito ahí. Un pumpkin.
What a peaceful
Aquí.
place. Yo, have you guys been good?
No
Just
sé.
remember, meet me at the wood today to pocket I can laugh.
Vamos a ponerlo. Chaca, 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 chan, chan. Chan, chan. Oh my god! Kushina, thank you for the raid. Gracias por la raid. Bienvenida. Estoy decorando para este mes de octubre. Bienvenido. I'm decorating for this month of October. Welcome. Huevona. Hello, Neko. Hola, Neko. Huevona, pero corto los videos de los canjes, bruh. Yo no hago eso. Creo que era más largo. No. Konnichiwa, watashi wa nama wa Kiboto. Kibuto. I'm so sorry. Kibuto. Oh, Kibuto. Konnichiwa. Genki desu ka? Very nice to meet you. Meow, meow. Estoy decorando. Bienvenido y Happy Halloween. Feliz Halloween. Hola. Ay, se conocen. Hola. Bienvenido. Ignoren a Warman. Te puede apuñalar, oh my god. Ah, Lucio, no. Iba a decir, ignoren al Warman que él te apunta con la pistola, pero solo la apunta para asustarte. Ok, esperemos. Díganle que le espero. Ignoren el miedo, esa es mi gatita. A ver, ¿qué más? Halloween. Screen. Lights. Genki desu. Ah, suga desu ne. Eso es lo único que sé en japonés, lo siento. Ay, toilet desu ka? Where's the toilet? ¿Dónde está el toilet? Ay, eso está bonito. Y yo, ya. Yo, estamos así, bro. Lo poquito que sabemos, lo único que te podemos utilizar. Jiji. Mucho gusto. Soy Kire, dibujo y soy dragona. Y no le sé los juegos. Y no sé nada. Brutal. Hola. Hola, Kushi. Kushina, my bad. Lo dije mal. Thank you so much. Oh my god, Morgana Gaming. Thank you so much for the follow. Con mucho gusto. Gracias por la raid. Oh my god, Nico, thank you for the follow. Gracias por el follow. Ojo, me quedo. Let's go. Ay, espérate, no me deja. Hold on. Lights. Y ahora le dejo el mensaje. Disculpa. Bendito. Ok, ahí está. Ahí está. Kushi, ¿me puedes decir corazón? Ok. Te dice Kushi. Gracias por el follow, Kushi. Thank you. Miren, ya mis decoraciones. Missy, bendito. Van a pensar que yo te maltrato. ¿Por qué no? Es mi gatita Missy. No sé si lo puede escuchar, pero ella quiere jugar. Mira, dice, vamos a jugar. Missy, van a pensar que te odio, bebé. Ella solo quiere jugar. Tiene 6 meses la niña. Espero que estés bien. Pensando ahora mismo estuve dibujando a Chucky en vez de mujer. ¿What? Hell yeah. Oye, ¿verdad? Sí, qué bueno. Perdón, no pregunté cómo les fue. Ay, quiero ver. Quiero ver. Yo tengo un Discord, please. Si puedes compartir el proceso. O sea, lo que hiciste. Pues sí, yo le veo, yo le checo. Missy, bájate de ahí, bebé. Bájese. Bájese de ahí, niña. Ahí está. La hora completa ya la termino. Oh, hell yeah, porfis. Aquí está. Lo puedes enviar y decir que se trabaja en proceso. Ahí está. Ay, sí, ya está ahí. La terminé hoy. ¡Oh! ¡Ojito! Hell yeah. Comparte. Comparte. Amo el arte, bro. Yo, honestamente, estoy aprendiendo arte yo mismita, así que. Yeah. A ver. Ay, bendito. No quiero mover el chat. Vamos a moverlo un poquito abajo para que se pueda apreciar el chat. Ahí está. Eso se ve bien. Yeah. Hay cosas que estoy tapando, pero creo que me debería importar y no me importa. ¿Qué pasa, mi corazón? No, no, no. Bebé. Me alegro que hayas tenido un bonito stream. No ha publicado nada. Te voy a dar. ¿Cómo va a ser? Déjalo quieto. Él lo hace rápido. Chéquenle. ¿Dónde lo pongo? En arte. Dice art. Hay uno que dice Killer Art. Ese no, el otro. El otro más abajo. Perdón, está muy alto, disculpen. Para eso es, para que se asusten. Hola, Yusu, ¿cómo estás? Estoy decorando para Halloween. Mira, creo que voy a ponerlo aquí porque no sé dónde van a ponerlo. Está perfecto, yeah. Te quiero te lo envío para que lo utilices también. Yusu-sama, Yusu. Yo amo a Yusu. Bro. Ok.
It must get pretty lonely
Hell
here.
yeah, let's go.
Purita café, purita galleta.
Ya. Oh, ojito. Voy a verle. ¿Puedo compartirlo, please? Yo sé que los que estaban en tu stream ya lo vieron, pero yo creo que todo el mundo aquí lo vea. ¡Oh! ¡Qué bonito! ¡Oh! ¡Oh! ¡Qué bonito! Voy a compartir la pantalla de Discord. Disculpen. Ay, Dios mío, qué bonito. Missy, no haga eso que me van a pensar que te odio, bro. Aquí está. ¡Ah, qué bonito! Ah, sí, estoy compartiendo mi pantalla, se me olvidó. Whoopsie doopsies. Anyways, mira qué bonito. Oh my goodness. ¿Y este? ¡Oh! Ese Scream como mujer. ¡Qué bonito! Ay, me parece Chucky. Sí, está bonita la verga, bro. ¡Oh! ¡Qué bonito! ¡Qué bonito! ¡Ay, me encanta tu firma! ¡Qué bonito! Te quedó bien bonito. Bro, hell yeah. ¿Qué pasa, mi niña? No me asustes. Mira. Ahí va. ¡Yippee! ¡Qué bonito! Ahí ya vamos a dejar de... ¡Oh! Ay, porque yo no... ¿Qué pasó? Mi Discord se voló en canto. Mi Discord voló en canto. Se frizó mi Discord. Lo siento. Bueno. Creo que es hora de... Es hora de sacar esto. Disculpen. Jiji. Jiji. Miren. Chequen. Ya toca hacerme free. Oh, sí, porfis. Hagan eso. Hagan esos dos. Quiero verlo. Hold on. Espérate, ¿funciona? ¿Está funcionando? Espérate, no se vayan. Aquí estoy. ¡Pum! ¡Jeje! ¡Hola! Miren, yo pasé toda la mañana bregando en esto, ¿ok? Se supone que yo soy una zombie. Hola. Yusu. ¡Qué brutal! Thank you. Le cambió los colores nada más y soy transparente. Thank you. Yeah, I try my best. I'm not happy. Miren. Missy, ¿qué pasa, mi amor? No. Happy Halloween, everybody. Missy, you sound so sad. Please, don't do this to me. Ella siempre hace eso en stream. Pero es cuando estoy con ella no le importa, ella no hace nada. Se la comieron. Ah, qué bonito. Va a ser arte Warman posiblemente. Yo soy uno de esos artistas que dice, sí, yo te hago arte. Y luego todo se me olvida. Spooky Dukies. Bueno, ahora sí me tendré que ir. Nunca sé arte, cállate. Me tendré que ir. Muchas gracias por esa raid, Kushi. Disculpen que tenga que hacer algo tan corto. Es que mi gatita no sé qué le pasa esta noche. Ay, Missy, te caes, bebé, te caes. Mira, está tratando de llamarme la atención. Está bien, está loca. Qué bella. La amo a mi gatita. Oh my gosh, me está mordiendo. Está bien, ya me voy. Te doy atención a ti, ya mismo. Mira, esa fuma fantasma. Sí, esa boobies fantasma. Let's go. Bueno, si quieren puedo hacerle raid a alguien. El primero que me diga. No, te va a decir el 1. El 1 no se puede. Ya va Missy. Voy a ver quién está en vivo en esta hora. A ver, alguien que yo conozca. A ver. Si no, pues elijo a alguien que me mencionen en el chat. Ya voy, mi niña. Boxer BTO, boxero. Ok. Bueno, ya me voy. Lo siento que me tenga que ir tan... Ya va. Perdón que me tenga que ir. Mi gata me está loca. Quiere atención ahora. Porque si no, morimos. Mañana prenderé stream de nuevo y jugaremos no sé qué puñetas. Pero lo averiguaré. Muchas gracias por compartir conmigo. Y nos veremos otra vez en la noche. Es capaz que está viendo fantasma, así que cuidado. Ya, vale. Tendré cuidado. Adiós a todos. Y saludemos a Boxero. 1 te comes 4. Jiji. Adiós, Cuchi. Adiós todos. Que cállese. Ah. Cállatelos. Adiós.